Never mind me while I'm stepping out my circumference. I feel the nerves trickling down. It's life humbling. My words stutter, stumbling, staggered and caught off guard. This the life of a jigaboo, introverted, I'm scarred. Whoa, my murder been the melodies while they sing the choruses. Direct message from slaves saying we need more of it. Paranoia in my state, I see envy at high rates. Now it's crop off the fate, turn great so I fly straight. Was gone for a minute, now I'm back like an ex with big factors. I see you turn flat like extinct like some raptors. When I drop through prayer, precision, practice and patience, we move to greener pastures. They're saying life is a matter of mastering basics and mastering patience. More time I get tired of waiting. Maybe it's fate procrastinating. The times are bad, so it really had me sprung. Like she got me doing things that I never do. You thought that we connected when in fact it was trauma bonding. Just leave it up to me to break the rules, never corresponding. My childhood filled with fence climbs and knee scrapes and bikes and kicking it by the street signs. The older I get, I'm trying to lessen any screen time. The bounce back heavy, I rock steady on climb. This one's a fucking loop. The news will pick and choose whatever truth they wanna give to you. I cannot stomach it, so I poop. Oops. When life turns sweeter, the lemon mouths get louder. But I'm amplified with ghosts from God like that boy Fowler. Working like I got that point to prove. But truth be told, the proof is right in the pudding, no point to lose. 60 for the crepes, yeah, I did that just because. She expected more, girl, you know I'm saving up. Left me on red, well, it was what it was. Never stress over them joints or in downs when times get rough, so I ghost. Long are the days when we was close, and when I see you, it's like two completely different type of ghosts. I approach the weekly fire dropping, which I'm feeding. Still, I don't expect to be the one. Your boy having fun, still the songs get spun like Beyblades and teacups. My fun fair to those that ever really know me from jump. So what's up, huh? I've been the one they all depended on like TJ. Now they're dead wilder than a furry knockout punch, leaving them straight stunned. It's hella fun, Now you know I'm coming through. When the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Table turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keep dealing me cards, I keep fitting in love.
Good morning to everybody in the building. You know the vibes, you know the damn ties. It's G and we're back here for some more GTA. Just having a little chitter-chatter about Michael Edwards. You guys can see in the caption, Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes this morning. Before we get into the chat, I'm obviously joined by the gaffer himself, by the man, the myth, the legend, Thiago Alcantara. How we doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. What we saying, man? How are you guys doing? I hope everyone's doing good in the chat. Smash the lights, people. Let's go.
As Thiago said, man, you know what I mean? I know we don't see him on the pitch. Do you know what I mean? We don't, one game this season that we've seen him, but, you know, he's here with us in spirit. He's coaching the lads, you know, behind the scenes and stuff like that. He allows for us to be able to, you know, do our thing on the pitch. Big up everybody, of course, inside the building. Big up Sadiq, man. I hope you're doing well. Big up Cav in the building. Big up Alexander. Big up, watch the new kit unveiling. It was meaty. I didn't even watch unveiling. I just saw like it was dropped today. I was like, okay, cool. Say no more. Say no more. Let me know in the chat, guys, what you guys think about the new kit as well. If you guys are feeling it, you're not feeling it. I saw the other kits. There was one kit I did see, which was like, it's like gray and kind of black. I was like, I like that one. I like that one. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Big up Reverend Knight in the damn building. Big up Connor the Red. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Sadiq, yeah, it's John. John, yeah, head over to his YouTube. No, not even YouTube. Head over to Spotify. I don't know if you got YouTube Music. Head on over to there and you'll find all of the tracks, man. All of the tracks. John's, I mean, he's a magician. He's a magician, man. Big up K-Mac in the building. Christian saying, fuck with the away kit, I can't lie. Is that the grey one? I saw one that was
the
like
black one. There's three. So there's the black one and then there's the white one as well.
black one, and then there's the white one. Okay, cool. Maybe I'll
Black with
double
the
check.
black or like black dark grey with like navy blue.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's the one. That's the one I like. That's the one I like.
Yeah,
that's the one I like. So I think that's the one. Yeah, Christian's talking about still. Big up Gagging Deep in the morning. Yeah, come on, man. Like I said, John's a magician, man. If you guys want more tracks, you can go listen to. Yeah, I mean his music right there, man. His link is in my description all the damn time. So make sure you guys head on over there and check it out. Big up Anfield Road End. Hope you're doing well this morning. Big up Strasbourg Steve. Make sure you guys head on over to his channel to subscribe for the watch alongs and some other bits and bobs. Big up Pops in the building as well. Who else is in the building? Who else is here? Big up Angel 1968. Night kits other than the PSG clothing lines are terrible. Yeah, I know. I guess it's a good thing that, and as Hollywood Rock says, I'll wait for Adidas next year. Hopefully they'll bring the crest back. Yeah, man. Hopefully by the time we get to Adidas, you know what I mean? Because Arsenal had a couple good kits. There's a few teams. Real Madrid.
The thing is though, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, we know what it is with Liverpool. Our kits are going to be dead. They're still going to be dead.
Yeah, I know.
Like Nike looks calm. Even the Tottenham kits look calm. The Tottenham training kits look cold, but Liverpool's one look meaty.
No, it's just listen.
But you're right about Real Madrid. Real Madrid is so clean. Like it looks so like
bro, but it's simplistic. I think that's why I like it. But they don't do much, you know. They're not like when you look at their kits, it's not like they got mad. Obviously, they got a couple kits that I like that where like mad designs and stuff like that, but they're not crazy. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, they're not like wild where you're like, oh my goodness, they got this design. Bro, it's simple, simplistic. I love the simplicity sometimes with certain kits. Sometimes when you try to add too much patterns and paintings and stuff like that, I'm like, you're doing a bit too much, I feel, with kits. But listen, this is why I'm probably not a kit designer. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Clearly, they know what they're doing. Honestly, the building, big up, man. Oh, JJ's on the stream, Brody. We are waiting for the response after K. Dot left the murder scene with that diss track. I can't lie, the diss track was trash. I think K. Dot's diss track.
In it, like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't want to have to go and listen to something 20 flipping times to then deep. Oh yeah, he meant this and that, bruv. Drop a good beat and kill man on the track. Yeah, I mean, be disrespectful. Man's talking about his parenting. I don't give a toss about his parenting skills, bruv.
Listen,
the whole whether his son's God fearing and that. Why do I care if his son's God fearing?
Honestly, it was trash. Like it was like
I thought I was like,
bro, like it was dead, man. It was dead. I don't even understand why people were banging on. I was like, what? I waited however 2 weeks for this,
and that's what it is. We waited 2 weeks for that. After man goaded you to it, and man just started doing like, I hate the way that you walk. I hate the way that you talk. I hate the I don't. But that was mid for me. Like again, like I said, if you want to go in like Good Kid, Mad City, and I want to go in and get into all this lyricism, there's a time and place for that. In a rap battle, do you think everyone's trying to listen to that?
Bro, you didn't even like like forget even the bars. You didn't even like the bars were meaty like to okay, but you didn't even make like even a true. You know, like Drake might not have like in these kind of rap beefs, yeah. Unless he's saying something mad like he did to Meek Mill, if he's just doing what he's doing now, he at least makes a good tune. So I'm like, okay, it's at least a good tune which can get played, kind of thing, because it's just funny. It is what it is. But you didn't even do that. I said, brother, I'm not listening.
And that's what I think. And that's what I think is a killer, though, is that like Kendrick's thing, calm is mad lyrical and that, yeah. Drake's thing is going to be playing in the strip club when you're there chucking your dollars. Exactly. I mean, says they got you wiped down. Travis got you wiped down. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, listen, I'm not even the biggest Drake fan, but that Kendrick thing was I don't know, man. Man started like at the beginning, it seemed like, I mean, it's like he was doing spoken word and that. Like, I was like, wait,
I was like, am I listening to rap or am I listening
Euphoria? He's like, yeah, like Pimp a Butterfly, Euphoria, the discovery of like, I don't care, man. I don't like, yeah.
No, big up everyone. If you liked it, you liked it. I'm not here to tell you what you shouldn't like, but me personally, I thought it was dead. I genuinely thought it was
he wasted his time. You know,
yeah, you just went 2 weeks.
You know, Charlemagne said, I don't even want you to respond at this point.
Exactly. I don't even want you to respond.
After you dropped 2 and you didn't drop anything, I don't even want you to respond. Like at this point, it's dead.
No, 100%, man, 100%. Big up K-Mac in the building, man. Hope you're doing well, brother.
Big up, guys.
But yeah, we'll get into it. Don't worry, guys. We'll come back. Well, I'll come back to the Drizzy stuff and Kendrick stuff at the end. But obviously, like I said, today we're here to talk about Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes. I was chatting with JJ in the back office there, and obviously talking a little bit about it. And one of the things that I've been maybe a little bit confused by is almost the role of both these two guys. Obviously, coming in to obviously, there's also, by the way, there's a host of other people who are also coming into the football club, but obviously those two are the pivotal ones, right? So I feel a lot of Liverpool fans, I think they, in my opinion anyway, from what I've read in terms of what their roles are and from how people are taking it, I feel that people are a little bit confused as to the roles of the two men. The way that people are speaking is that obviously, listen, everyone's happy. Michael Edwards is coming back, and we think we're going to just revert back to what we were doing before, etc., etc. From my understanding of everything, and obviously I've got a couple of videos that we can listen to, and just so that we can all understand. From my understanding, Michael Edwards isn't coming back to do what he did before. He's not in that kind of role. So, prime example, he's not going to necessarily be the one to might have an input, of course, as he would do, because he is going to be in control of basically of the entire football club. He's not going to be the one worrying about Mo Salah's contract or Virgil van Dijk's contract. That's not his job. That's why he's got a Richard Hughes in, because that's where he delegates to someone like him, i.e. the sporting director, who's going to deal with that side of things. Michael Edwards is more the overseer. He's putting people in place himself, as Jerry mentioned in the back office as well. FSG, they're not like, obviously we knew this kind of already with the way that they were moving with the club, but they've now said, we're not even looking at Liverpool anymore. We don't just come back with your sheets, with all of the money, revenue that we're making, losing. You just come back with that stuff. We'll give you what we need to give you or whatever you ask for, and then we'll take it from there. We're going to employ Michael Edwards. You basically run the football club. He's almost the quote unquote owner of the football club. Obviously not really, because it's going to be FSG. They've obviously employed him to do so. So when people keep telling me, yeah, when we had Michael Edwards, we were doing this, that, and the third. He was part of the analytical team, the recruitment team. He was sorting out, the contracts, being able to, look at this player. That I don't. And again, just my interpretation of everything I've read. He's not going to be doing that. He's delegating these tasks because he's going to be running so much more. He's overseeing maybe that side of thing, hence why he's then obviously got someone like a Richard Hughes and various other people in place. He's going to be sorting out the multi-club ownership, as an example. That's going to take up more of his time than worrying about whether we extend Mo Salah's contract. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not going to be his job. But I'll just quickly, before we I'll get the video up, but just in terms of both of your thoughts, I'll start off with yourself, Jerry. With Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes obviously coming in, next season, do you think like the future anyway of Liverpool looks bright, looks exciting, or do you think it's still it's pretty new, so to speak?
From a structure perspective, I think, yeah, it's good. I like the fact that there's a structure in place. We saw how when there was no structure, in last season, it was all a mess. Even like if you look at this season, I mean, look, City, Arsenal, Feyenoord even all have set piece coaches. We haven't got a set piece coach. And then you question why on set pieces Trent's getting dunked on and we don't know who to pick up. Do you know what I mean? Like, of course, these are things that make the difference in small percentages, but that's why Arsenal are so lethal from set pieces. That's the difference between, do you know what I mean, a goal and not a goal. So it's good to have a structure because it means that kind of filters its way through down into the club. Obviously, having a Michael Edwards back in there, he's clearly one of the best at his job. Led analysis. Now, obviously, he's coming in to be CEO of football, so it's a completely different role. We're now, do you know what I mean, he's going to be focusing on the commercial side of things, the footballing, well, CEO of football, that's everything to do with football. The commercial side of football, do you know what I mean, what's going on the pitch, of course, he'll be involved in that process, but he won't have a direct hands-on approach with that because he can't micromanage contracts, he can't micromanage I don't know, player manager issues and things of that nature. So it will be really interesting to see how he kind of evolves into that role from what he's done before. Richard Hughes is the crucial one because obviously he's coming in as a sporting director. Obviously, Michael Edwards, I assume, has had a hand in this, so they're probably on the same page in regards to what they want and how they view things. It's going to be a big role for him because he's been at Bournemouth before, and you're dealing with a different quality of play. Well, technically you are. Do you know what I mean? You're not attracting the same level of player. You can't do so. You'd hope things would get better, but I think the most amount of pressure is really on Richard Hughes from a on pitch kind of basic and like on pitch perspective, because he's going to be in charge of the signings. Who stays, who goes, essentially. Do you know what I mean? That's the footballing director's role. So if anything, Michael Edwards, of course, is involved, and people trust Michael Edwards, so they trust his opinion on things. And if he's co-signing Richard Hughes, then I guess people are like, oh, do you know what I mean? The phrase comes out in Edwards we trust. But Richard Hughes is the guy that, do you know what I mean, the eyes are going to be on for me, and that's going to be the interesting part of things in the summer.
Okay, Matt.
Yeah. So, can you hear us? Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, big up everyone. Jerry spot on with that. Like the fact that there's key elements of Liverpool which we've needed. Like we've needed certain players, we've needed people to kind of leave, we've needed like players to be sold, contracts to be renewed. All these key elements don't seem to have been done the right way over the last few years. Like we're sat here now talking about 3 of our star players, all contracts ending at the same time. That would never have happened under Edwards and Hughes. It just wouldn't have. You stagger contracts with your key players. Otherwise, you end up with all these massive amounts of money, having to give them all signing on fees all at the same time, and that really stifles your transfer budget. And this is the situation we're in now. Like Jerry's just mentioned, the set piece coach. I mean, come on. I mean, how many times have we conceded goals because we've got a little man marking a big man? Like that's just basic stuff. Like all of this will just get nipped in the bud. We've got loads of new staff coming in. We've got loads of old staff going out. Someone just put in the chat then that it's going to be like Chelsea. It's not going to be like Chelsea because everybody's got a good relationship with each other. There's not going to be any power struggle. Like Edwards has hired the people that he knows he can trust. He's worked with Hughes before. Like he worked with him at Portsmouth many moons ago. They kind of came into the same kind of digital analysis type of way of working at the same time. We've just got 3 other people back into the club who left the club, and you have to wonder, why did they leave the club in the first place? Well, it's because Edwards wasn't there anymore. And Jurgen Klopp wanted power, so pushed all these guys out. So they're coming back. He's took another guy from Bournemouth, another analytics guy from Bournemouth, who's quite revolutionary in the way that they did analytics like 10 years ago. He's took him. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. So I think it's exciting times because we're now going to get back to the way we should do things, and we should utilize our academy more. We should sell our academy players more, like when they're never going to break into the first team, which has just never happened, and I don't know why since Edwards left. Hughes is good at that, and we're also going to utilize the loan system more as well with our players. Hopefully, our players start getting better loans, because the amount of times our players have been wasted on loans over the last 4 or 5 years is just ridiculous.
No, I agree.
And if we just sit there and just look in general, we're now seeing leaks come out that, and this is on purpose, by the way, by the club, that Nunes wasn't a scouting, the scouting team, the digital analytics team signing. This was just a Klopp signing. Like he wanted him, he got him. Nkunku was the guy that they recommended. Like it's now come out that Diaz was a Klopp signing as well, and they wanted Bruno Guimaraes. Like they wanted Bruno Guimaraes, but they didn't. He didn't want him. So it's crazy that all this stuff's going to start coming out. But now we're just going to sit there and go, okay, who should we really got? Should have we got a Kudus instead of a Gapco? Well, yeah, we should have, and then we will just get a Kudus. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No. Big up, man. And again, this is more just our, should I say, interpretation of everything that we've seen, read. But also, again, I wanted to kind of go with it, go through with this with you guys, of course, in the chat as well, because, like I said, I feel like there's been a tad bit of misunderstanding, so to speak, when it comes to all of this. And again, the reason why, otherwise I wouldn't really care about this, and usually I wouldn't really actually care about ownership and stuff like that. What I don't want in the summer is something that we maybe unanimously all think, oh no, that's right or wrong or whatever, and then we start getting mad or angry or overexcited about certain things, and it's like, we don't even need to do that, guys. We actually don't need to even go that far. Do you get what I mean? So yeah, I think going through all of this just to have a little look. And again, people in the chat, if you've got any other information, bits that I might miss out, please drop them in the chat, man, and we'll try and chop it up as best as we can. But I'm going to play this video. Obviously this is just like a 1 minute video where they just talk about what Richard Hughes is going to be for Liverpool, obviously once he comes in. Before we go through that, let me just go through a couple of these questions. I just start here and we'll get into it. Big up Red for life. G, what do you think of a front three of Nico Williams, Jota and Kudus, and Salah just behind them in the 10? I think it's kind of calm.
Don't want Nico Williams. Doesn't score enough goals.
There's that
goals
too.
He's ever scored in a season is 6.
Again, listen, look, there's that too. But listen, even if we got, let's say we did get that was a front three for next season, we're gonna have the same problems that we got this season, which is it's not gelled. So regardless of anything, we're still gonna be sitting there waiting for them to gel, for them to click, and then I think it will just look a bit messy anyway. Whatever front three we do get in, unless you're getting in like some serious quality in, and but I like those two players. I don't have a massive problem with them too. Big up honesty. Question: Sepp Vandenberg is one of the best centre backs in the Bundesliga. Would you give him a chance or cash in now? His stocks are high. I'll go no. Sell him ASAP. Not good enough.
He'll be sold. He'll be sold for a good amount of money.
Yeah. What do you think, Jared? Would you sell him? Would you keep him?
From what I've seen, he looks good, man. We say I don't know. No, I'd see in pre-season, innit? Because if he's if he's available and proves that he can be a level above a Kwanzaa, which he's playing week in, week out for in the Bundesliga, he looks solid. Well, from what I've seen him, even against like Bayer Leverkusen and Dortmund, he done really, really well. I'd like to go and see him how he works again in a system that's a bit more control oriented. Like, there's a lot of talk surrounding like Konate as an example. And even on 4-4-2, the guys on there were talking about, from the research they've done, they think Konate is going to struggle under Slot because the centre-backs have to put their foot on the ball. And that's not his strongest suit. So, having a Sepp Vandenberg that can potentially, I'm not sure whether he can do that. I don't know. I want to go and see him first in pre-season because you never know, you could get a gem in it. But if someone offered 40 million for him, just cash in. 30, 40 million, just cash in it.
I watched that analysis as well. It was really good on 442. The interesting thing about Sepp as well is his actual team, Schalke, they don't concede many goals since he's been in the team, even though they are in the relegation zone. But that's just for the fact they just don't score enough goals. But they're actually really good at keeping the ball out the back of the net, their end. They don't concede that many goals. That's because of him. It's an interesting one, but they've got to buy a buy-on clause, so they can actually buy him. but I don't know how much that's for. That's what I've heard anyway. I don't know whether that's actually true, but yeah, he does look good.
Yeah, well, listen, we'll wait and see.
And he is versatile. He is versatile on the right as well. He can play right back as well, can't he?
Yeah. Listen, look, I think, with someone like Sepp van den Berg, you're just kind of like, you're almost in that situation of, it all depends on how Liverpool want to move in the summer. I think a lot of players are in his position who are currently at the club. And what I mean by his position, not the actual playing position, I mean in terms of the role for next season. Remember, guys, we are back in the Champions League. We're not going to see a Europa League style rotation that we saw this season, and also as well, the manager's going to want some level of I would assume he'd want some level of continuity. He doesn't want to, Klopp was lucky that Klopp's been here for years. So Klopp can do all of this chopping and changing stuff because everyone knows who he is. We all know he's got a couple favorites anyway, but we don't know who the manager's favorites are. We don't know even if he's got any. We don't know who he likes in certain games. So there's going to take a bit of time. There might be a bit of rotation potentially at the beginning of the season. But I think if, for example, as a very, very small example, if Liverpool get knocked out of the Carabao Cup third round straight away, all of a sudden now, the amount of games that you're actually playing is just Premier League and Champions League until January. So now you're in a position where it's like, ooh, can I really, unless there's injury crisis, can I really afford to have a Sepp van den Berg, potentially playing games? I mean, where's he going to play games if I've got my first 11, more or less every single week? This is where the club are going to have to look at everything as a whole and make sure it makes financial sense, I guess, first and foremost, and then, take it from there. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Honestly, would you man take Sancho LFC and Ian Matheson?
I would have took Ian Matheson a while ago. He looked brilliant.
Yeah, he was good at Coventry and Burnley. I was saying this to my boy yesterday.
When he was up
I remember him at Coventry. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, Dortmund are going to buy him and Sancho.
Yeah,
they're their main targets to buy.
I
watched them last night. They were insane. A pair of them.
Yeah. He looks like again, obviously, I guess it's kind of what Jerry just said earlier on about Van den Berg. When you play games, I mean, all of a sudden now, you feel me? It's now people are seeing what you're truly worth. When you're not playing games, it's difficult to.
Players leave Man United and Chelsea and become better.
Yeah, that their clubs are just, I don't know. There's like a poison chalice over there. Like I really don't understand.
Maatsen is one that I would entertain. Again, he's at Dortmund, so I don't know. I feel like you've got to tax that club a bit, man. And then, Sancho, no. I think he needs to be in Germany. I think he gets influenced by the man from the ends. He gets invited to these industry parties. Krypton Conan asked him to come to this, and then he gets excited, and it's just like, just stay in Germany. Do you know what I mean? Travel to Frankfurt with your friends on a road trip. Do you know what I mean? And that's it. Just stay focused, and I think you get a better Sancho. I think you just got to stay out there, man.
Yeah.
Less distractions.
No, I hear it. Did Klopp tell you he wanted power?
But it wasn't me that he told. It was all the media that have said it.
Yeah, I think you know what it is. And big up Savage in the building. He says that honestly, all I hear people say in the club, said, or it's come out from the club. Yeah, I see no statement from Liverpool club ever on these comments. I'm about truth, not constant rumors and PR. I'm a fan of footy. I think with that in itself, where I feel you're right in what you're saying, the likelihood of that is basically nil. No club is more or less going to come out and tell you anything. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like it's gonna be PR and rumors. It's gonna be very rare instances where clubs will come out and tell you anything about anything, whether it be transfers, incomings, outgoings, what's going on at the club, all of that kind of stuff. Like even when Chelsea were getting taken over by Todd Bowley at the time, again, he kind of just not swooped in, but you didn't really hear about that until I think there was another two people that were in front of him who were obviously trying to buy the football club. Bang, then he comes in. The rumors were there before, but of course you're not going to know until said thing. So it's like it's a catch-22 with stuff like this. It's always a catch-22. But again, I hear fully, you know, what you're saying. I'll go for this last question, and we'll get into the video. If Slot succeeds in his first few years and earns his right to have more say in transfers like Klopp did, and Hughes gets overruled, do you think history will repeat itself?
No, because he's a coach.
No, because Michael Edwards is now head of football and Richard Hughes is his number 2 essentially. So he's not gonna. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, it's 2v1 in every situation now from now on.
We're also not going to employ managers anymore. They're going to be coaches, which is the way it should be with a director of football. Let's be honest.
I'll go with yes, what these guys are saying, I agree with. But on the flip side, yes, it can repeat itself. The only difference that you'll get in this situation is that they'll just sack the manager. That's the difference. Whereas Klopp, they couldn't really do that. That was the major difference. They were never ever, even with Edwards here, not here, the football club could never, and Klopp's even said it himself, they were never going to sack him ever in any situation. We finished 5th and played shit, and they still couldn't have that idea, that notion of sacking him. It took for him to come out and tell everybody that he's tired and run out of energy, etc., etc. So do I think that situation can happen? Yes, 100%. Of course it can. Like any manager in world football, I've seen it with Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, I've seen it Ancelotti, all of these guys. When you've done what they do, and obviously I'm not saying he'll reach them kind of heights, but let's just say he is successful in his first few seasons, of course he's gonna start asking, yo, like, what are you guys saying? Like, you don't think I can potentially get a bit more money? You don't think I can potentially get this player? I have earned the right to ask you at the very minimum. Now, how far that goes is obviously down to how far he wants to take the situation. But it will then be down to both parties to then decide, listen, if you're going to keep going on and banging on and banging on and banging on about this, we'll just let you go. We'll just get another coach in. As the K-Mac said, they're not going to hire managers. It will just be a coach. So yeah, I do think that situation can easily happen, and I wouldn't even be mad at it because I'll be like, well, he technically did earn the right to ask the question. It's just down to you whether or not you feel you want to, continue with that. And then, of course, if you do give, as they say, give an inch, people take a mile. Like, it could go too far. So yeah, we'll just kind of wait and see. But let me get into the video now. So this is about Richard Hughes.
EasyJet's big orange sale ends tonight. With up to 200.
Richard Hughes has been confirmed as Liverpool's new sporting director and will start his new role at the end of this season. Hughes, 44, spent a decade as Bournemouth's technical director before recently resigning from his role, and is Michael Edwards' first appointment since being named Fenway Sports Group's FSG CEO of football. Hughes replaces Georg Schmadtke, who took on the role last May, but only in a short-term basis before leaving after the January transfer window. Edwards has had a long-standing desire to work with Hughes, and they have a professional and personal relationship spanning over 20 years, having previously worked together during Hughes' playing career at Portsmouth, when Edwards was the South Coast club's head analyst under then-manager Harry Redknapp. Hughes arrives at Liverpool with a proven track record of signing young players. He brought the likes of Nathan Ake, Dominic Solanke, Callum Wilson, and Erin Ramsdale to Bournemouth, while he also speaks 3 languages and has good contacts in both France and Italy, where he grew up. Intriguingly, Hughes knows the agent of reported Liverpool manager Ultarghet Xabi Alonso, having brought another of his clients, Andoni Iraola, to the Vitality last summer, while he was also reportedly keen for Roberto De Zerbi, another man understood to be on the shortlist, to replace Jurgen Klopp to manage Bournemouth. It is understood when Julian Ward left his role as Liverpool's sporting director last summer, Edwards was surprised Hughes was not one of the candidates to be interviewed by club owners FSG. I am incredibly proud to be offered this opportunity. Liverpool FC is a unique club, and I'm grateful to be given a chance to serve it in this capacity, Hughes told the club's website. People rightly talk about the rich history this organization can boast, but it is the present and future which really excites me. It will be my job, working with Michael and leading the football operations team already in place, plus the wider staff at the AXA training center, to make good decisions. That's really what the job entails. You have to make the kind of good decisions that enhance the prospects of having a team that wins and excites the supporters. It is what Liverpool have done well for a very long time, and the benefits are there for everyone to see. One of Hughes' first jobs will be to find a successor to Klopp, who announced in January he would be leaving the club at the end of the season. Meanwhile, also on Hughes' to-do list will be to try and convince the likes of Mohamed Salah, captain Virgil van Dijk, and vice-captain Trent Alexander-Arnold to sign new deals at Anfield, with the trio's current contracts all currently set to expire in the summer of 2025. Reacting to today's announcement, Edwards said, "I'm delighted Richard has agreed to join us in this vitally important position. I've known him for half of my life in a professional and personal capacity, and he is absolutely someone who embodies the best values of Liverpool FC. I trust him completely. He has outstanding judgment and a track record of making smart decisions that benefit the organizations he represents. Both Richard and I are aware of the weight of responsibility that comes with working in this capacity for a club such as this. The fact he is excited and energized by the challenge ahead is important. It is clear to everyone that Jurgen will leave a legacy to build upon, and in Richard, we have the right person to make the key decisions and offer the leadership to take us forward into a bright future. As one very successful chapter will come to a close for Liverpool in the summer, the objective of everyone here is for another one to begin, and with Richard, I am confident we have the right person in position for us to achieve this aim."
First of all, you lot are actually very, very silly. Very, very silly.
There's a lot of kids there, aren't there? Big kids.
I heard. I see you guys with the go. Obviously, it's the bot voice. I mean, I don't even know why he went with that voice, but he went with that voice anyway. So obviously, that's just a little inside. Of course, we're not going to know the full depths of what these guys are actually going to do, because you never do know what it is that these guys officially kind of do as an all-round basis. Outside of players, and even players, half the time we don't even know what the role of players are, and we watch these guys week in, week out, so we definitely won't ever know what these guys are doing properly behind the scenes. But just listening to that, K-Mac and Jerry, in terms of Richard Hughes's role, chat to me, man. Like, in terms of him coming in, how do you, obviously listening to that with everything else that you do know, how do you kind of see it moving forward?
Do you want to go first, Jerry?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's sporting director, isn't it? Like, it's on him. He's working with Michael Edwards, but he's going to be in charge of the footballing. Again, he's there to make the right decisions. So what you've got is, I guess, they've brought in someone like Michael Edwards because they value, I guess, his company, and not only his company, the data that he can obviously provide. Obviously, he wants to progress from a professional standpoint, and he's brought in someone that he knows, and he's brought in his brethren. Real Rich, follow me, man.
I always get
come and
wary
live,
when
come and live,
like
come and live on Merseyside. Do you know what I mean? Come to TheEqualizer. That's what he's told him. So he clearly trusts his decision. And yeah, it's his boy. So they've got do you know what I mean? They've got what? Mike Edwards is what? Maybe almost 50 years old, 40-something years old. They've known each other 20 plus years.
They're both 42.
Oh, so they've known each other since they were 20, in their 20s. Do you know what I mean? So they're now top. They're just, again, friends, isn't it? They're boys. So it's just yeah, it's a tight-knit relationship. They're going to work together, but Richard Hughes is the guy that's going to ultimately make the decisions. It won't be Michael Edwards. He's going to work with Michael Edwards, but Richard Hughes, remember, he's got to have some responsibility in his role. So he's not going to be micromanaged. Do you know what I mean? He's going to be making a lot of the decisions. So again, Salah, Van Dijk, Trent, Nunes, all these people that we're speaking about, it's going to be on Richard Hughes to see whether he thinks they can stack the club or not.
Just before you go there, K-Man, there was one thing I did find quite interesting, and obviously this video was by the way was done before we.
You're probably going to bring up what I want to talk about. Go on, go on.
Hopefully not, but either way, you can expand on it anyway. But one of the things that I found interesting listening to that, and I heard this before anyway, was obviously Richard Hughes, the managers that he wanted. Now, again, we know that they've got a list. Who was on the list? I guess we'll never really know, outside of maybe Alonso. I would say that everyone else just seemed like it was potentially on the list, Amarim and all these kind of people, right? So I don't know where Slot was on this kind of list, but just listening to that, and I've read this before as well, Slot wasn't that in terms of Richard Hughes, by the way, it didn't sound like Richard Hughes was looking at a Slot. Obviously, it might have been, of course, on his list, might have been somewhere, number 5, 6, 7, whatever. He was on the list, of course, but it didn't sound like that was the guy that he really wanted. So I found that kind of interesting because obviously they've gone with Slot. Obviously, they knew first choice Alonso, that was out of the door. So now you move on to whoever your second choice is. Sounded like it was Amorim. Cool. So Amorim did what he did the other day. Blah blah blah. Again, I don't know where Slot would have placed on this list, but with everything I've read and heard, at no point did we ever hear that. It was always a Roberto De Zerbi or an Amorim or someone else. It never seemed like, and I found that interesting because, again, without trying to read too deep into things that I don't know, I'm looking at that and I'm just like, okay, fair enough. So you got your sporting director, the guy you've obviously employed. He wanted to go in, it sounded like, in one kind of direction, but we didn't go that direction. So I wonder who then came up with that, okay, let's go in this direction. When we look at all of the data and all of this kind of stuff, is looking at the data, is that necessarily a good thing moving forward? Just purely looking at, obviously, I know it's not just data, but other things added up as well. So yeah, that was just something. But sorry, go on, Cayman.
Yeah. I was gonna mention that as well. I was also going to mention like this, like there seems to be quite a bit of negativity about the fact that you've got two guys that know each other working together, like and the key thing to note as well in the video was they actually said they're really surprised, and Michael Edwards was surprised that Richard Hughes wasn't even looked at as the director of football after Julian Ward left.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty obvious that the manager wanted his mate as the director of football.
Yeah.
But that's not a negative, is it?
Mm.
You know what I mean? If you want to work with people that you know, like how many times do people get recommended for a job by someone they know into another company? Like it's called a referral. It's called a referral. It happens all the time. It's the best way to move around because you've got the continuity. And I don't think FSG could have done anything any better than us losing our manager, yeah, and us losing the backroom staff, and for us to replace them with somebody that we know as a face of Liverpool, and him to get people back that left Liverpool, you know, and put them into different positions that he feels they're better suited. You know, the guy who was the loan director, I think I can't remember his name off the top of my head, by the way. He's now going to be the assistant director of football under Hughes. So we're keeping continuity at the club, but you also have to look at and also Slot was top of the list, by the way. That's now come out. Like the data had Slot top of the list all the time, and also the way Edwards has done things in the past, you don't know what's going to happen. Like it's really secretive, like it always has been. Like a lot of the players that we've signed, just kind of out of the blue, like, oh, I didn't know we were looking at him. Like, where did Allison come from? Like, where did Mo Salah come? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's kind of an Edwards ammo, which is fine. It's probably got that from like when he worked in the banking sector.
Yeah.
You also have to look at the fact that Hughes has got a couple of people that he knows with him now. I think someone's called Tom Birchall. I think he took from Bournemouth, and another guy. So he's got continuity as well in his job because he's going to be working with people that he knows as well, which also helps in the transition from the new people, from the old guard to the new guard, so to speak. And the thing with Slot's got continuity as well because he's bringing a fitness coach, his assistant manager, and also a performance coach with him. So he's going to have people with him as well that he knows. So I just think we're doing things the right way. And we're not just shifting everyone out and then shifting loads of new people in and nobody knows each other. Like there's an element of a group of people know each other in that area, a group of people know each other, and then they can all kind of collaborate together. I just think it's the best way of running things. And also, we've all talked about we don't want FSG involved with our club. Well, we've got our wish by getting Edwards because Edwards is the COO. So there's never going to be anything about FSG anymore. It's Edwards. Edwards is the COO now. So we kind of got what we wanted. And for me, I'm excited because we're getting a manager that, by the looks of it, tries different things. And if it doesn't work, he'll try something else. Or if he sees a weakness, he'll work on exposing that weakness. Like, we just had a guy that's going to leave now, and he still plays the same way from 9 years ago. And it's like we all want to see different things now, don't we? We all want to see better things from our team in different areas, and we want to see players progress. I think we're going to get that now with the new guy. I'm quite excited about it all.
No, and listen, man, I'm I think on one side, I'm kind of like, you know what? Hey, man, what K-Mac saying in terms of the excitement surrounding everything. I'm like, hey, look, if I think Sadiq, you just said it there. Someone just said it there. No, sorry, Honesty said it here. Let's wait and see, because if it works, it will be a very, very good team, bro. And for me, I'm looking at that in the wider spectrum. I kind of agree. Listen, if everything works the way that we want it to work, or we think it's going to work, fantastic. And again, I'm only playing devil's advocate here as a typical content creator, to look on the other side of things. Do you guys think, looking at it, okay, cool, Jerry's got his own business, right? Now, Jerry might have a couple jobs available, like within his business. He might have a few people who are looking for a job, like, you know, qualified people, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't know them at all, but he can see on the, you know, when it comes up on Indeed, and, you know, you can see, yeah, this person, their CV, their background, blah, 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 might all be good. But Jerry says, nah, you know what? Gee, how about I give you the job? You can do the role as well, by the way. It's not like I can't do the role. I can do what he's asking, but am I the best person for it? I don't know. He won't really know. But me and him are boys. Me and him have been cool for however many years. So he's more inclined to give it to me, just more probably out of that fact. Not necessarily because I might be, would I say, quote unquote, the best at doing it. It's just more, he will understand. He knows how I work. He knows how I move. I know how he works. I know how he moves. I know how he likes things done, etc., etc. But am I necessarily the best person for it? And that's why I look at it. And again, just playing devil's advocate, do you guys think having that, where, I'm not saying Slot, by the way, shouldn't bring all these guys, bro, bring them in. If it helps you and it helps the team, fantastic, do that. Richard Hughes, same thing. If it helps you, helps the club, Michael Edwards, all of that, it's fantastic if it works. But is that the best thing moving forward? That's the only thing I say about it. Is it's all great with, yeah, Jerry saying he's going to hire all of his boys and that, blah, 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 just to, you know, give these guys a job. But if they're not necessarily the best people for it, is it not more detrimental to his business? Because now he's going to be left in a position of, well, things are not going to be done productively as they probably should have been had he just hired such and such from, I don't know, James from he doesn't know. I don't know how you guys look at that.
Well, that's what essentially with Michael Edwards is, where, you know, that term in Edwards we trust. It's people are bringing in Edwards to see that he is the reason why he's there is because he is good at making decisions. So you'd have to kind of just look at it and be like, oh, okay, well, this is the best decision to be made. He's not making the decision because Richard Hughes is his boy, like Klopp did, but Schmacker's just trash. Like, he's an Ibiza, partying it up, not touch AXA at all.
He's got a remote from home now.
Yeah, got a remote job, innit?
Remote job.
Just remote. Yeah, I hear that. But but yeah, so obviously that's the situation. That's the situation you're in, obviously, with this, with Schmacker. Richard Hughes, of course, it's his boy, and they've known each other for 20 years. But clearly, he's bringing someone in because he trusts their decision making, and that's why Michael Edwards, more than anything, is CEO. It's not because of the players that we signed. It's not because of this. It's the decision making. It's the fact that we signed these players and they went on to be good. It was not because you signed world class. We didn't just go out and sign Mbappe, Ibrahimovic. I mean, we didn't do that. We signed players that turned out to be good business decisions. We sold players like Solanke, like Brewster, like Nico Williams that turned out to be good business decisions. So on that hand, you just got to kind of trust it, innit? And if you trust, if you're looking at Edwards and you trust Edwards in one capacity in terms of his decision making, then obviously he's taking a step into a new role.
Yeah, of course.
I guess
Exactly.
that's why he's been stepped in. You know what I mean, that's why he's getting that role. I think in regards to obviously the manager situation, De Zerbi probably more attainable for Bournemouth when he was at Sassuolo than Slot would have been, because Slot would have won the league at Feyenoord, and Slot was entertaining the likes of Spurs and stuff like that at one point. So maybe that would have been. You never know. He may have been a name on the list, but it's just, we can't even get him. Like, they wouldn't even go and try and get an Ancelotti. Do you know what I mean? Because they just can't attain him. So it might be one of those ones. But yeah, interesting.
The thing about that as well, sorry, is
No.
we're not just hiring Mandem who no one knows. Like Richard Hughes was wanted by Manchester United and Newcastle.
True. Very true.
Like,
very true.
Like, you know, these guys were wanted by big clubs. Like Edwards was headhunted by Man United and Chelsea. Like, you know, they're not nobodies. Like,
No.
like
I know.
I'm pretty sure the guy that's just been employed to be Richard Hughes' assistant, I think they got him from, I think it might have been Arsenal or someone like that. Like, honestly, these they are qualified people who are good at their jobs. And the assistant, not manager, what is he? Yeah, the assistant manager to the Dutch team is the guy that Slot's bringing over as his assistant manager. like he works with Ronald Koeman. Like, these aren't just like nobodies. That's, you know, people are talking like who are they? Like, these are people that are wanted by a lot of other clubs. Like, and Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards is wanted by bloody every club, to be fair.
Like, no, Michael Edwards, he was, but I feel also as well, just on that, and Guy will get into the video looking at Edwards' role. I feel like with the Michael Edwards thing, he was wanted by everyone for what he did, of course, with Liverpool. Yeah. But I also feel that with getting him back, and obviously we'll watch the video where I guess they'll explain it a bit more. What we've offered him, that wasn't what we initially offered him. So there was a reason why we only offered him what we offered him at the beginning. So and this ain't like contract negotiations where I'm saying, yeah, well, we're going to offer you, I don't know, 50K, but you wanted 120K. So we'll try and meet somewhere in the middle. To me, it kind of felt like we've said, we'll basically put you back in the same role that you was in before, maybe a bit more leeway with certain other bits and bobs. But then we've said, you know what, he's come out and, well, not come out, but he's almost said like, no, I don't want that role because I've done that role. What I want now is I want to be the guy. I want to be the CEO, as he is the CEO of football relations, obviously at Liverpool Football Club. So I'm like, oh, okay. So that was the only way we were going to be able to get him back. FSG have obviously said, you know what? Just you do that then. Forget, if that means you can come back in some capacity, then we'll just take that kind of thing. So again, like I said, just playing devil's advocate, guys. Just asking the questions, because I feel if we don't ask, then we will never, really and truly know. But we'll get into the video now about Edwards real quick. And he's asking, having watched that 4-4-2 vid, I am now Konate out. I need to watch this vid. Everyone, I don't know what this video is. I don't know.
It's a bit harsh. Like, he didn't say that much on Konate.
What video is this? What is it? Like, what is it?
I can't remember the guy, but I watch him a lot. He's good. He's funny as well.
Okay. 4-4-2 vid. Okay, cool. I'll check it out.
4-4-2.
I'll check it out afterwards. Honestly, asking question: will Slot and Richard be yes men to Edwards? And what if it goes completely down the drain? Well, let's watch the video and let's see what they say. All right.
Man, the cult of Klopp is in the house here.
Hey, I keep quiet on those kind of matters. I get pelters anyway.
With Richard Hughes potentially set to fill the gap vacated by George Schmack, Edwards will be free to take on broader responsibilities as FSG's CEO of football. According to the Times' Paul Joyce, this will look like the following. It is an appointment by FSG, rather than Liverpool, and one of Edwards' tasks will be to identify and subsequently manage a second club to attract global talent. This is more likely to resemble Brighton and Hove Albion, whose owner Tony Bloom has a stake in Union Saint-Gilloise, than the City Football Club, which has numerous clubs around the globe under its umbrella, including La Liga side Girona. It's hardly a secret that FSG is keen to broaden its portfolio in football. Indeed, they're on the record as having expressed an interest in investing in Brazilian football. Whether this is a direction Fenway will look to pursue once more remains to be seen, though there are clearly benefits in pursuing such a model. With Edwards taking care of affairs here, you can rest assured that Liverpool and FSG will extract maximum value from any new relationship. With FSG moving quickly to secure a world-class framework for the next Liverpool manager, Jurgen Klopp's successor should be primed to thrive. We'd certainly be far from surprised to see the club continue its tradition of landing smart signings with bags of potential for reasonable fees.
So after listening to that little bit, and again, that's just like a little snippet, of course, of what he's going to be coming in doing. When you guys now see, and again, with everything that you do know, looking at Michael Edwards' role at Liverpool moving forward, what are we thinking? Because again, he said there, and I mentioned it before, CEO of football. They're more, they want him more for, I think Jerry mentioned before, about his relationships that he has across football in a general sense, kind of thing. So again, it's not like he's going to be here doing the nitty gritty. He's not going to be out here doing the deliveries. He's hiring the guys on the peds, on the bikes, to actually go out and do the deliveries for Deliveroos and the Just Eats and stuff like that. So yeah, in regards to that, how do you guys feel, or what do you guys think behind that? Any of you? I don't know. Okay, Matt, you can go first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, yes. It's cool, innit? Like, it's, as they've said it, innit? Which it'll be interesting to see what that role entails. Obviously, this is a different role. Where's the focus?
Yeah.
For Liverpool, is it off the pitch, on the pitch, and then you'll kind of know whether Liverpool are effective in that or not. Because it seems to me like the director of football, which is Richard Hughes, will be focused more on the playing side of stuff.
Yeah.
Michael Edwards seems as though he's got bigger. He's not thinking of Liverpool as like, yeah, we just want to see, the team play nice football, and I want to see these players score goals. It's like, no. How influential can Liverpool be on a global scale? So commercially, brand deals, links with other clubs, all that type of stuff. I think that's where the focus is going to be for Michael Edwards.
No, for you. Okay, man.
So, I mean, Edwards has been back for, was it a couple of months now, isn't it? About 4 months, 3 months? Probably since Jan on it.
Feb?
Was it Jan?
Yeah, end of Jan, beginning of Feb. Yeah, around about that time.
Okay, so Edwards come back about Jan. We've already got a director of football in house. Managers sorted. All the coaches pretty much done and dusted now. We're still getting a few people in. Obviously, John Achterberg's just announced that he's leaving. Good, because he's been there way too long.
15 years, I think he's been there.
Goalkeepers just keep on getting injured with him. Interesting thing is, since Edwards has come in, we've already had massive deals that have already been announced. So AXA have now re-signed for another 5 years. We're now dropping Nike at the end of the season and going to Adidas, which we've talked about for a while, that Nike have been pulling our pants down with business. So that's been nipped in the bud straight away. We've already got a director of football for another club that we're going to take on, Pedro Bento from Benfica. That's already been done. I think we're probably going to go for a Portuguese club. I don't know who. There's a couple of names, and Julian Ward is probably going to be involved as well in some aspect of a second club. This is in the space of like 2 or 3 months. Like, we're moving at rapid speed. Now we've got a guy back who kind of knows what he's doing. And the whole premise in him leaving in the first place was, he said he'd only do that job for 10 years, and then he wanted to move. He wanted to do something new. He wanted to try something progressive. Like, how many people in their own jobs are happy to just plod along for 10 years at their role and not see any progression? Like, that would just be crazy, that you don't want to progress in your career. And obviously he wants to, which is why he's now the COO, which is fine. and eventually he'll probably be an owner, like in the future, because he's got shares now. He's been given shares by FSG. That was part of the contract. I'm okay with that, and I'm also really okay with us taking on an extra club. Can you imagine the amount of South Americans we can get into a Portuguese club to get work permits? Because all we've ever had in the past is players that have come in and we've never seen them because they've been out on loan forever trying to get work permits. And when they come back, they've just not been good enough. But, you know, now we could have a link to a direct route into Liverpool through Portugal, which is where a lot of South Americans come in, ply their trade, and then go to other clubs. I think that's a really good thing, to be honest. And the 2-club model, it seems to work for City.
Yeah, I mean, listen, City,
works for Brighton, works for City, works for Red Bull.
No. Listen, I don't disagree. Listen, I've always kind of wanted, like, after seeing, especially the Red Bull model, after seeing how that model kind of worked, and it, like, I almost feel, and obviously City's one's good. I like their one, but the Red Bull one, I like that more purely from the fact of, you got to understand, like, how they even funnel these. Obviously, they're not as good. RB Leipzig obviously are not on the level of a Manchester City financially, and just in terms of them as a football team and club, right? I get that, but I love the way that they funnel their players, like, through. I think it's Leverkusen. I think it's an Austrian club.
Liefering,
then they go to Liefering. That's it. Then they go to. Yeah, then exactly. Then they go to Salzburg. Then they go to an RB. Like, obviously, it might not be direct, kind of all the time, but more often than not, they go through the 3 kind of clubs to then develop that player, and then of course RB Leipzig will then potentially sell that player later on for a fee. I like that because it's like you've got a club at every stage. So obviously you've got your top club, which is RB Leipzig. Then you've got your kind of second club, but there's still a big club, obviously, over there in Austria, in Salzburg. And then you've got your Liefering, who are like the smaller club where you'll send players. I've seen, like, I think Karim Konate, I think he went there potentially on loan. Like, that's where you just put out, just, we need you to go play some football, but you're going to be playing under the same model, same style of football. So when you come back into that first team, we don't need to worry about, oh, but can he play our way? Can he do all? No. He's already been doing that already on loan. Salzburg, same thing. You're playing there, but it's the same way that RB Leipzig. And obviously RB Leipzig are the end goal, should I say, so to speak. And then, of course, they'll do the selling and whatever and try and be competitive and etc. etc. I like their model a lot. City, kind of the same-ish, but I feel like they're still in their infancy in that Girona were not, like, I don't see Girona on the same levels as Salzburg just yet. They're obviously doing their thing and they're trying to progress, same style of football-ish, all of these kind of various different things. But I look at the Red Bull one and I'm like, right, it's actually, and again, as Steve is saying here, New York Red Bulls too, Bragantino, they've got so many dished around the entire world. I really like that model. So if we're looking to do something similar to that, I'm all for it. I'll definitely 100%, be all for it. Bajan's saying here, so all of these things have magically happened as Edwards walked back in the door. So the machine was stalled until he came back. That's where I'm at. That's the questions I ask all the time. More to just be annoying, but those are the kind of questions that I will always ask, because I'm like,
I don't know, but I'm just saying what's happened in the last
no. And I'm not, this isn't even at you, but this is it's those kind of things when people then say certain things like, but ever since we got Edwards, we got this, we got that. Again, I don't know. I've never been in a boardroom with all of these kind of individuals. I don't know what it's like. I don't know how long negotiations have been going on. I don't even know what the negotiations are like. Is it because Michael Edwards came back that these negotiations, which maybe had stalled, maybe he came in, patterned everything, and then we move forward? Were they even there before, prior to him coming? These are all things that we'll never, of course, really and truly know. But I do find that, big up Pops, I do find that interesting when people do mention that. I am like, all right. I mean, I can't deny it, because if you just looked at the timeline of what we do know, technically, I mean, Edwards came in, this happened, now this is happening, so fair enough. But then I'm like, well, what was happening before? Like, how was that kind of going about? But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I'm gonna take
I can only give you information that I know, and that's what I know.
Yeah,
The
like I said,
interesting
it's
thing,
you. Yeah,
the
isn't it?
interesting thing about the Red Bull stream of players is we got Dominic Szoboszlai, we got
Yeah,
Salah,
yeah.
we got Mane, and we got Naby Keita, and they all did that route.
Yeah. What I would say though, I think the problem you've got with this kind of model, not a problem anyway, is that Liverpool will never go out to go and buy or get or obtain, and it kind of makes sense now, a De Zerbi type of manager, a Pep Guardiola type of manager, a manager that comes in and his style and his ethos is so influential, he changes the culture of the club. The culture of the club now will be dictated by Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards. So if you don't like the way we play now, it's got nothing to do with the manager. If you don't like the style of play, it's got nothing to do with the players, because this all comes from the top. So it's a very easy kind of like analysis to do. I'm not looking at Slot now thinking, why are we playing like this for? Because I'm just like, oh, okay, well, we're playing like this because the club want to play like this. The club view football like this. And that's the way it's going to go and be.
No, I agree. It's going to make next season the analysis after games now, boy. It's going to be hilarious. But it's
that
like
name
I said,
Hughes is going to be ringing around a lot of a lot of streams for the right or wrong reasons. I have to just wait and see.
Oh yeah, bro, 100%, 100%. Like, yeah, it's going to make analysis of the game funny. Like, because now you're almost like, well, no, you kind of know who to blame, as you said. Like, now man has to go, well, it's not my man, it's him. So what do we do now? Do you just keep sacking manager? And this is where, and this is another thing I look at. I'm like, do you just keep, if let's say, God forbid, touch wood, let's say Liverpool don't do that well, whatever, next season, we're losing games, left, right, center, we don't look that good, blah, blah, blah. What do you then do? Because obviously there's always a possibility, like there's no guarantee that what you're trying to do is obviously going to work. And obviously because of the type of club, we're not Brighton, where Brighton, I feel Brighton can kind of afford to take that kind of, obviously everything's a risk, but almost take that kind of gamble where we say we want it to be like this and then move forward. They're obviously nowhere near remotely close to as big as a Liverpool football club. So for them, everything now is at this level. It's kind of at that small to medium level kind of thing. So it's like, yeah, we'll do things like this for the time being. Obviously, they're going to get to a point. Well, I would like to think they're going to try and get to a point where, all right, we've gone from small to medium. We need to get from medium to large now. We can't stay at that small to medium forever. There has to come a point where it's like we need to almost bridge the gap, but then, just try and make that next step up. Obviously, that might not be for years, by the way. That could be another 10-year plan where they're like, no, we'll keep going like this for 10 years, stay sustainable, stay in the Premier League for the next 10, because obviously that's difficult to do. And then we might make that jump. But I just think that at some point, clubs do try to make that kind of jump. I just feel with Liverpool, obviously, and I only care about Liverpool, I wonder what happens if things don't go to plan with this manager. Do you then just say, we'll just get someone else? Like, is it going to be that kind of conveyor belt of managers?
What you've got to have a look at, the thing is, that's how these models move, innit? Look how many managers Red Bull Salzburg, Red Bull Leipzig have had. They've gone from Nagelsmann to Jesse Marsh to this, that's how it's going to be, because unfortunately, they are head coaches and their style of football is dictated by the teams at the top. Again, when you've got a multi-club model, how else are you going to go and make sure that Arne Slot plays the same football as, chuck any name out there, man, Steven Gerrard at Liverpool US? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they look at football differently, it has to come from the top. This is what we want. We need you to do this. Of course, there can be nuance. You can change certain things, but it needs to be this. You're not going to get a De Zerbi and a Klopp as an example in a multi-club model where they're playing different styles of football. Because then, great, you might have players that you can go and sell on. But then what happens is that you're bringing in one player from one club, bringing him to the second club, asking him to play a way that he's never going to play. It's like signing a new player.
No.
I think
Listen, I agree.
I think the interesting thing about it is is the kind of coach that we have looks like he has quite a flexible way of playing,
Yeah.
where he's in and out of formations, and also plays to the actual to the teams that he plays against. Like if you even watch the 4-4-2 thing, like last season, yeah, it was like last season. They didn't do many progressive passes through the midfield, so they were like they were the lowest team on that. This season they're the highest. Like last season, they put in loads and loads of crosses. This season, they don't put in loads and loads of crosses. Like, like you know what I mean? Like, and he won the league last season, and he hasn't won it this season. But PSV have been quite freaky. Let's be honest. Like they are, like way, like really weird, like numbers. Like he should have won the league this year with what he's done and the points that he's got. If like according to like, you know, the way we talked about like how many times we would have won the league with the points that we finished on. It's the same with Onslaught, like this year, but just PSV have just been so freaky. They've just, he's only lost 4 games since he took charge. Like, you know what I mean? But I also feel that the whole coach piece, we don't understand it correctly. Okay, so I hear you talking about, well, all the signings are going to come from the top and it's all dictated from the top. I don't think that's necessarily correct. I think what happens is with the coach has meetings with the director of football about recruitment, and the coach will say, look, I'm after a right back that can do this, this, and this for me. He doesn't give him names. He just says, that's who I need to fit in my team. And then the recruitment go away, do the analysis, come back and go, okay, here's the 3 players that we recommend. Which one do you want? And then he'll go, oh, okay, I want that one. And then they'll go and try and get that one, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not a case of him going, oh, I really want that guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to work like that. It's not going to work the fact that like we signed Gravenberch because Klopp wanted him when the actual transfer committee wanted Thuram, and that's a fact. Like Thuram was the guy that the transfer team were ready to sign, but Klopp and Linders went, no, we want Gravenberch for whatever reason. It's not. It won't work like that. It will be, I need a defensive midfielder to do this, this, and this, and then the committee will go, okay, who have we got here? Blah blah blah, and then they'll give them names, and they'll all be like within like 23 and 25. Like we know how it works. They all need to have a high ceiling. They all need to have a sell-on factor, because we ain't going to be having 30-plus-year-old players anymore. That we just need to understand that. Like they're going to be sold before they get old, and when they lose peak, they'll be sold at the highest amount, and then they'll get moved on, and then we'll get new guys. But the new guys will already be in place. They'd already done loans. They'd already, like, you know, everything's going to be run the way we've all sat there looking at the team going, why don't we do things like this? Because we want it to be done like that. It will be done like that.
Listen, we're playing real life Football Manager, to be honest.
Real life Football Manager, yeah. We're not playing. We're not playing that weird stuff.
Angel, where's Ramsey now? Is he still injured? I think, isn't he on loan? I'll be honest, I couldn't even care less about.
He went to. It's really weird as well, because we kind of followed the same track as Bradley, and sent him to Bolton to kind of emulate what Bradley did, as in like win Player of the Season, Player of the Year, you know, all that stuff. And he just got injured, and he's done again.
Yeah, obviously, listen, look, no one can foresee injuries, so no one buys a player thinking, yeah, he's gonna get injured tomorrow. I get that, but I feel sorry for him in a sense where
Liverpool. I don't
yeah,
think he'll stay Liverpool,
he's in a peak position, because the reality is that Bradley's obviously now got to this stage, and he's at a stage where it's like, well, Bradley's going to be looking around saying, well, I should be the backup right back, as an example. So if that's the case, where do you then leave someone like a Calvin Ramsey? Hey, listen, we'll see what they choose. Pains us, but bro, I'm trying to hide. I'm hiding my face, bro.
I tell you what, if you watch that 4-4-2, Bradley is gonna shine.
Yeah, I've just got it up now because I said the way you
He's
lot were
gonna
talking about
shine on the
this
slot.
4-4-2. Someone just messaged me said, "Nah, G, watch the 4-4-2." I said, "Well, I don't really." All right, cool. After the stream, I'll take a look. YouTube name sounds great. Came out, but people still try to twist it into a negative. I think even on that, I think there's obviously pros and cons to all. Hence why I said I wanted to do this stream in the first place, because I said that at the beginning, it is about looking at it from both sides. Unfortunately, nothing in life is a pro. It's just all pros and no cons. There's gonna be pros and cons to all of this, and I think people, us as a community, I feel like there wasn't enough understanding. Now, from the little information, and bearing in mind, we probably don't even. I'm not even talking about us three here. I'm just talking about every Liverpool content creator, the journalists, all of these people have probably got a minute percentage of what's actually really even going on. But I almost feel that like we always seem to get like a biased one side of things. It's our club. We want to do this. We want things to look great and positive, and everything is happy as Larry, and flowers are blossoming every single day. When the reality of the fact is, it doesn't actually work like that. So that's why we got to look at it from all angles, from all the information that we do have, and then we can formulate our own opinions properly. Do you get what I'm trying to say? As opposed to just saying, oh, she looks nice on Tinder, but then the reality is you don't know nothing about her, don't know nothing about her personality, don't know what she's been like in the past, etc., etc. So yeah, man, it's one of those things. I'm trying to hear the cons and care. I'm asking.
That sounded like that came from someone who's got experience.
Hey, like I said, I don't like going down memory lane, man. We'll leave that for another day. To another day. But yeah, and it's true. And this is what I'm saying, Savage, is that we know, everyone knows, everyone here knows, everyone in the chat knows, nothing is all just positive on one side. There's gonna be certain negatives behind whatever it is kind of going on. I want to find out those negatives, because I'm always like, it's great hearing about the positives about a player, about a manager, about a style of play, but then you're never ever hearing the negatives. When the negatives start to rear its ugly head, you're so like, it's like it's just slapped you in the face. Whereas you might have been in a position to almost negate those kind of things over a period of time. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, again, not going to negate it fully, but you could at least say, and I'm just a fan, but we can at least look at it and say, for example, when people moan at FSG for various different things, like whatever, transfers, money, this, that, and the third. But then we have to look at it also from the positive side of FSG. Well, they hired Michael Edwards. Well, they helped hire. Well, they hired. They're the ones who actually hire a Jurgen Klopp. You get these. Everyone else is just inputting their data to FSG. They're the ones who do these things. They're the ones who have to sign off on all of these kind of things. So we need to look at things, I reckon, just from both sides. And again, with Arne Slot, we can't look at it from he's just a yes man or whatever, bro. Whatever he is, he might actually be a dope manager. I would love if he came in and Liverpool are playing the craziest and like sexy football. Do you get? Like, that'd be brilliant. But as long as he's getting us winning games, forget it. Like, I'm good. I've got to the point now. I don't care how we play now. Because I didn't get what I want, so I just want us to win. At this point. Some fans, that everything you do is bad. Yeah, I agree, YouTube name. I agree. Sometimes it's not all negative and sometimes it's not all positives. So looking here, just quickly, and then we'll wrap up in like 10 minutes or so. I was looking at the contracts that are running out. Obviously, these are the things that I guess Richard Hughes is going to be looking at over the summer. These three on the screen right now, excuse me. Are you keeping any of them for next season? Like, in your own opinion, would you guys keep any of these guys? Any one of you can go.
Matip's the one I'd look at keeping. If I had to pick anyone. Obviously injuries are a problem. They are.
Mm-hmm.
Is he better than Kwanzaa? Yes. Is he better for me than Konate? Yes. Is he better than Joe Gomez? Yes. So when he's at his best. So for me, in terms of, a team now that's going to be in possession of the ball, he'll be perfect for that.
Yeah.
That style of footballer will be perfect for that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had to keep anyone, if you had to be a bit more cost effective, obviously Liverpool aren't going to anyway. But if you wanted to be a bit, you know, we're not signing a centre back, or we are, but we are signing a centre back, but he's not going to be of the level. Like, we're bringing someone to develop. I'd keep him at it and look at, you know, and keep him around. But the injury was so bad. He's in his final year. You're not really going to make any money from him. I don't know how much he's on a week. You probably want to go and sell. But yeah, Adrian and myself, yeah, I need to go, man. I need to go.
I was going to say, yeah, bro, you need to go, bro.
Yeah, I need to go. Like, it is. I don't really like Liverpool. I just don't really like Liverpool.
Okay, Matt, what about yourself, man?
Look. I just need to say, like all of this stuff about like other players being like the best free transfers in the Premier League history. No, Matip has been the best free transfer in Premier League history by a country mile. He has been unbelievable.
With his injury record,
unbelievable. What he's achieved and what he's done, like with us, has been unbelievable. I'm telling you guys, we'd be about 3 points clear at the top of the league if we had Matip fit still. If he hadn't got injured, we'd be in a different place. We just would. Like he creates so much going forward for us with him moving into midfield. He is such a brilliant player, like so underrated, honestly. But he's got a really bad injury, and he's 32, and he's got an injury which means that he could get re-injured again quite easily because it's his knee. For me, I think Kwanzaa's ready to become a first team player now. So, and let's be honest, like Canate should be knocking on the door now, shouldn't he? Really, as a regular. So we'll see what happens.
He should be bloody playing.
Well, he should be playing now, shouldn't he? 100%.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a priority is a centre back. There's more links to Inacio and Diamande again. Diamande's actually a lot less than we thought. He could cost 45 million, according to a couple of media reports. You know, it makes sense. And we're not going to go for Hancho. We're not going to sign any players from Feyenoord. Okay, they're just not good enough for the Premier League. Like, I think if
I'm being serious, I think Gertrude's one that we could definitely. Gertrude. I think that's one we could get. I think.
I actually like Timber. More.
Yeah. I mean, Timber's a centre mid though. He's a centre mid. His brother's.
We don't need any.
But I don't think we're going to sign. It's mad to say any African players because of the AFCON.
I think we're tired of that.
We won't be doing that route again.
I think. Yeah, that's the killer. I think who's the last African we signed? Mane, Salah, who else? Keita. Yeah, once we got rid of Keita, I think that was it. I think it was we can avoid that, and Diamande will be going to the AFCON. So.
Yes. Where's he from again?
Inacio it is then.
Ivory Coast. Côte d'Ivoire.
Côte d'Ivoire.
I think on Thiago as well. Sorry, I didn't touch on Thiago. Yeah. I mean, Adrian hasn't played in 2 years, by the way. Like, God knows why he even got.
Oh yeah, no, he's
70 grand a week.
No, it's vibes. Remember, Klopp said
to be a DJ.
Klopp said he's good in the change rooms and he plays the music. He sets the music up.
He sits next to Klopp anyway on the bench, doesn't he? Like all the time. So he's got his mate, hasn't he?
I've got a good playlist, you know. Like I've got playlists for all different types of people. You want R&B? I got it. You want some? I got everything for you guys. Like
all they play is Dua Lipa, mate. It's not that good a DJ. He plays Dua Lipa.
I can play that as well, guys. Listen, Liverpool. If you're paying 70 grand, I don't even need 70 grand a week. You can give me 10 grand a week. I'm good. That's a crazy wage cut. What, just to help out?
He was probably cheaper than Calvin Harris. He was probably cheaper than Calvin Harris to hire.
If you need Liverpool, if you're in desperate need and you need someone for that, and you don't want to pay the 70 grand, I'm good with 10. You know what? 5 grand. That's my last offer. 5 grand a week.
And the Thiago thing, the guys cost us 80 million in wages and transfer. Like it's There you go.
No, it's true. It is. Yeah, hi DJ. All right. So now we look at the ones where I wouldn't say more pressing, because I guess the ones that we just spoken about, they're the ones he's going to try and sort out ASAP, whether they're going to stay or go. What do you do with these three? Or how do you guys see these three right here? How do we see this kind of, because these are obviously three of our best players. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely going to let Jerry talk first on them.
Let's start from.
What
let's
countries
start.
Oh, Syria. Okay. Yeah. I forgot. Yeah.
Let's just start with Trent. Trent, you keep.
Time down.
Because. Yeah, time down, because value in him again. Not many people that can pass the ball like him. I don't know what Slot's going to go and do with him, but from a financial standpoint, for what he means to Liverpool fans, especially from Liverpool, because he's a Scouser himself, you have to keep that. You to sell him now under Slot would be like, oh my God, like what are Liverpool doing? Like you'd really, set off on the wrong foot. Virgil van Dijk, I think you keep because there's not many better than him at the moment, if any.
I know where this is heading.
Yeah, I think there's not many better. You look like you're from Star Wars, man. Some Revenge of the Sith character just sitting in your room, hood on. No one can see your face.
Yeah, but you're lucky my hoodie's not black. Yeah, you're lucky my hoodie's not black there. No, tomorrow I'm gonna come with black hoodie.
I was going for a South Park Kenny look.
Yeah, you look like Kenny South Park. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
See,
Virgil that you keep because there's not many. There's. I don't think there's anyone better than him.
At 32,
at 32, I think you can keep him. I don't think there's many better than him. He's someone that he can go for a long while because centre backs can do. Look how long Thiago's been going for. Like look, Thiago. Look how long. Centre. Look at like Hummels now, isn't it? Hummels, it was seemingly done.
Bro,
look at that performance. Yes, at centre back, you're all right. You're all right, to be fair. He doesn't have to be the fastest centre back. He needs to read the game, and you'll be all right. Salah, I would keep. However, if a bid comes in, I'm shotting, and it's not because I don't think he can be effective. I don't think you're going to get. Like, no one's going to come in with a bid of 120 million plus for Virgil. You might sell him for like 50 million, 60 million, like max.
You think so?
Salah.
I always wondered how much a Virgil would cost you.
It'd be like 50, 60, man. A 32-year-old centre back. Why Liverpool getting rid of him? That's the first thing people will see. Salah, on the other hand, it's not only the player that you're paying for and the goals, of course, that is a high commodity. It's the commercial value that he can give to a club. So at PSG, as an example, that got a big kind of, Islamic fan base. You go to Saudi. If a bid comes in for him, it's going to be larger, and you cannot turn that down, because if you turn that down, you're never going to get it again. And we're already in a situation now where we're thinking, boy, if we had sold Salah last summer for 200 M's or whatever it was that they were being quoted, do you know what I mean? Would that have been the right decision if people are considering selling him now? Do you know what I mean? You look like you're losing out. They all got 1 year left on their deal. 1 year left on their deal. Yeah, you got. Do you know what I mean? Can you, again? As I say the same thing with Salah, can you go and build your team around him again? And if you can't build your team around him again, as in he becomes the focal point, whether he's a striker, number 10, wing, or whatever it is, then you need to just do what Arsenal had to do with Aubameyang when Aubameyang was clearly their best striker, but they had to move him on because Aubameyang was better than Saka. No one can tell me otherwise. Aubameyang was banging goals, but they had to get rid of him. You had Ronaldo, where Real Madrid they've decided, look, we're going to have to get rid of you, innit? Like, you're going to have to move to Juventus. Like, we're going to have to get rid of you because we can't keep building everything around you to the detriment of the team. If that means he can't press anymore, if that means, he doesn't fit the system as well as someone else would. that's the question. Slot that right though, Richard Hughes and Slot are gonna have to decide. But look, if you can, then you keep him. You keep all of them. I think. Well, Salah's the one where it's like, you know, the money.
Okay, I'll start with the easy ones.
Go on.
Virgil van Dijk, you keep.
Haters everywhere,
I
really.
think he's having probably one of the best seasons he's ever had. Like, he's been incredible this season. Like, you're just not going to sign a better player, like, anywhere. Like, you're just not. And also, he knows the assistant manager really well, Husselhoff from the Dutch team. He'll also play in a system where he'll be able to bring the ball out from the back more, which is something which I think he's brilliant with. He's really good on the ball. And he's a captain. Like, he'll sign a new contract. That the Dortmund thing's bollocks. Like, that's already been.
Oh yeah, I never
been
believed
muted.
you.
Yeah, it's already been muted. Trent. I look at Max Wiefer, who plays for Feyenoord, and he's really good at receiving the ball on the turn and being able to play the ball really fast. I think Trent could do really well in that position if he's brought into midfield. I'm not sure about right back. I'm not sure he wants to play right back anymore. He needs to sit down and have a conversation with the manager about where his position is and what he's got to do. I do think his head's been turned a bit by Real Madrid. I can't lie. Like, he's becoming more of a media darling now. Like, he used to keep himself to himself. Now he's like dating Jude Law's bloody daughter, and you know what I mean? He's out and about doing stuff, and he's on Sky Sports all the time. He's doing interviews everywhere. He's doing all like YouTube creator sponsorship stuff all over. He's becoming a real
25.
But the thing is though, that was inevitable. That was always going to happen if he was to remain again one of the best players for one of the better players at Liverpool, being from Liverpool.
Yeah,
that was that was always going to happen with the type of industry that we're in right now. It's like where it's the entertainment, football cross entertainment, where football's
100%.
now in the media. So that was unfortunately. I'm
not slating the guy. Like, he's been world class for God knows how long. Like, seriously, like I want him to get back to being that world class player for us again, and just not being put in a position where he's having to do two things. He doesn't really know whether he's stick or twisting. Gav Southgate hasn't helped him either. I think they'll tie him down for a new contract. And they'll probably use the love of Liverpool to push that over the line. Like, but Real Madrid, like, they're sniffing around him because they want him on a free transfer, not because they want to pay for him. That's what they're doing, and maybe push us to sell him in the last year of his contract because of it. I don't know with Trent. That one's a weird one for me. I think Virgil van Dijk will be done. The Mo Salah thing. Mo Salah has only really had half a season where he's been a bit iffy. Like, seriously, like even when we've been crap, he's been amazing. I think it's all down to the fact that he's never had a big injury before. He's never had a recurrence of an injury, so that must have been a shock to him. I just don't think he's dealt with it well. I also don't think he's dealt with the fact that Klopp's leaving well. I just don't. Like, I feel that that's the main thing with him. I think he'll be incredible under Slot. If he plays in that position behind the striker, or even like the right hand side coming in, I think he'll be amazing. I think he's already moving away from that kind of pacey winger striker type of role because he knows he hasn't got that anymore. So I think he'll be fine, and I think we'll get him on a new deal. Or we might even just let him run his contract out. Like, I know it's a bit crazy, but we might even just do that.
That actually, there was a question here. Big up, Lannon. Hope you're doing good. I have a question for the panels that bothers me. What if Mo Salah wants to run down his contract without signing a new extension? What should Edwards/Hughes do? What do you guys think they should do in that kind of situation? In fact, what would you do actually for all three of them if all three are like, let's say, okay, you guys are giving your answer in terms of what you would do at this current moment in time. What if all three of them just kind of say, we'd rather kind of play it by ear, i.e., let me just go through the season, let's see how things work, and then I'll decide at a later date, which could potentially mean that, like, how can you sell someone who doesn't want to be sold?
No, you can. If he was to, if they want to run down their contract, if you want to run down their contract, unfortunately, the club can go and they'll do everything in their power to go and sell. They'll go and bring players. Like, remember, players' careers are short, in it. So when you start limiting game time, like when you start saying, "All right, cool, you ain't gonna be," do you know what I mean? You ain't part of the team because you're doing all of that. These players are gonna want to go and leave. They can't just go and play it by ear because the difference of not playing for 6 months. Like a great example. Imagine Virgil van Dijk was in the last year of his contract in this year and decided to go and play it by ear, right? And he didn't play for 6 months because Slot was actually, you're not going to be here next season. You're not really committed to the cause. I'm playing this next centre back. He might not even get selected for the Euros. Do you know what I mean? If Salah now, as an example, wants to play this whole thing by ear and be like, yeah, I'm going to wait and see if I want to go and sign. After the last 2 months or 7 games or whatever that he's had, where it's been poor, do you think any team's going to come in and want to go and buy him like that? Depending on how long, like, you've got to be really careful with it. So remember, security for a football player is the most important thing. Like, you don't want to be in a situation like De Gea, where De Gea tried to run down his contract, innit? He tried to do that.
Yeah, but he still played. So
yeah, he played.
Like,
and look where De Gea is now.
No, but that's purely, I think, just
Altrincham.
wages, though. That's like his way, what he's asking for. That's why they didn't even sign him onto a new deal. From what I've understood, is that because he's asking for that same P, which is like 300 bags, like 350 a week. They're saying, bro, we're not signing you on that. Like, you could stay, but just not on that.
I think Liverpool just be in a situation where they'll be like, okay, if you don't want to go and sign, cool, we're going to go and sign this centre back, and our partnership's going to be Kwanzaa or Konate and this new centre back, and Virgil just won't play, because you cannot go and you cannot have a situation where you've got 3 players, or any one of these 3 players, especially the best players, saying they don't want to go and sign and think they can go and still go and play, unless there's an understanding where you are leaving at the end of your contract. If that's a different story. If they came out and said, all right, Salah's leaving, we're going to let his contract run down, but they came to an agreement like that, then that's different. You're in a situation where you've got like Bobby Firmino and stuff like that, where you're running down the contract. Cool.
Yeah,
if you're trying to go and do this thing where you're playing it, but if you're just trying to do this thing where you're playing it by ear, like, maybe I might sign it at the end of the season, but I want to wait to see if Slot's the guy. That's not going to run. That is just not going to run, because that would just cause that will make Slot's decisions so difficult. Do I plan with this guy in my team? Is this guy here for the next 2 years? Do we need to think about bringing someone in? That goes and affects the whole chain of, do you know what I mean, of the team, in my opinion. So yeah, if they come to a decision like run your contract down, cool. I think Virgil and Salah could be in that situation. With Trent, they'll sell him. With Trent, they will sell him.
Yeah.
They'll put him out to market. They'll put him. They'll just make a decision. They'll be like, yeah, cool. Like, do you know what I mean? And you're not going to play. They'll have to. And if it becomes messy, it will have to become messy. But no party will want it to become messy. You just want to go and go, innit? Like, you want to play football at the end of the day.
I do think, though, if Salah said, I'm just going to run my contract down, I think they'll still keep him. I think they'll sell Trent. I'm not sure about Virgil. I'm 50-50 whether they do that with Virgil, because they'd be able to sell Virgil, I think. But I think with Salah, I think they'll still keep him, because you're still going to get output for. He's not a guy that's going to go missing. He's not going to sit in the reserves, is he? He's going to want to play every single game. That's just, you know what I mean. So I think he'll still be committed to the cause. I still think Virgil will be committed to the cause, by the way. But I'd be worried about Trent. Like, I would be worried if he just switched off because he's leaving.
Trent is actually the only one out of the 3 that I look at and think he's someone I feel will just down tools. Like, he gives me the impression of him. who were just down tools. And to be honest, I feel like he down tools last season as well when things weren't really going. That's why I was very shocked that we did give him the vice captaincy, because to me, I was like, you don't seem to exhibit any level of leadership or captain quality. And as a vice captain, you're going to have times where you're going to step in for the main captain, obviously, if he's not there for whatever reason. And obviously, in terms of like the leadership group and stuff like that, like you're going to be the second in command. So I was very surprised at that. To be
I also wondered how that affected Salah, because I automatically assumed that Salah would pick it up, or even Ali. Like, I just wondered like how that affected them.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. I think to be fair,
that's another show.
To be fair, I would say that Trent, especially before the injury, he was fantastic, and it wasn't from an output perspective. He looked like a leader on the pitch. Like he was asking for the ball all the time. Defensively, he was solid. So that move, we saw a massive change in like.
What this
he
is?
seemed that. Yeah, for me, he seemed.
At the beginning of the season, bro, he was shit. Like mistake after mistake.
But it's not about the mistakes. It's not, the mistakes can happen. It's about the mentality in terms of how he was approaching the games. It's completely different. Mistakes can happen. One of the things he just made the pass, like Kwanzaa, it got intercepted and he scored. They made a back pass or whatever.
But then look how he played for the rest of that game, though. Fantastic.
Trent
wasn't doing that, though. Trent wasn't playing great.
But that can happen. We've seen that with Henderson. I'm talking about like he looked a completely different. Like he looked like he was like, yeah, I'm the leader in this team. Now you could see it. I'm seeing him G up his players. Before he weren't doing that. Before he looked like he was on the side of things.
It looked like four.
Well, I don't know. A lot of people said it. I saw it as well, in it. So it can't be.
But look then. Okay, cool. We'll go with that premise, right? That you're saying that he looked this, that, and the third. Now look, so it can't be something that it was just like, yeah, this is him, because we've just seen.
No, but he just come back from injury. But he's just come back.
So
but for me, performances are not to do with like. Leadership's they're not mutually exclusive. It's not like you've got to have performances to go and be a leader. So what I'm saying is, go on. So Trent's this season wasn't like outstanding where it was like raw, like he got 20 assists like he did in one season, or did this or did that, in my opinion. But what you saw from him was his approach to the game was different. He looked more switched on, like more like, all right, this is my defensive responsibility. He looked more pissed off when he made the mistake. Like in the Everton game, you saw it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he was frustrated. Whereas before, he was coming off and it looked like he didn't care. Like you said, he down tools. Like it was just like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, all right, cool. Like it's calm. Like he beat me. I don't care. Like I'm not a fullback anyway. He didn't have that approach this season.
You know, Fairs, if you see that, for me, I never saw like. Performance-wise, yeah, he played he played good prior to his injury. But then as soon as you come back from the injury, I'm not looking at your performance to then say, because even when he was playing well, I never really saw that leadership that everyone's talking about. But fair enough. If we saw it, then we saw it. But if we're now saying that you saw it then, if you're coming back from injury, if your performance levels aren't going to be up there, that's fine. But as you just said there, it looked like he, again, against Everton, for example, down in tools. I never saw that from a Henderson. Forget how dead he played in games.
I don't think he down tools. But I don't think Trent down tools against Everton. That's my point.
Forget even just Everton. I'm just talking since he's come back from injury. There's been little things when you're watching him. I'm just like, this doesn't exhibit
body
anybody
language.
Forget your performance just for 1 second. Yeah, the body language of some. Forget.
No, but I think his body. That's my point. But I think his body language has been good. That's what I'm saying. I think his body language has been good this season. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that he was there. Like, but I'm saying his body language is good. When he was against Atalanta, he's there. I'm seeing him like telling people like, yeah, come in here, stop. Like he's getting in. He's in that mode of it. No. But you're not gonna. But no one does it. No one does it for 100. Like Salah for me is not a leader, innit? Salah for me again.
I agree. I agree. I fully agree. But Henderson, 90 minutes. That's solid.
Yeah,
it's been.
Yeah, no. But Henderson again. There was plenty of times where, yeah, there was games where he was talking. There's other games where he just weren't talking, where the game was going past him, and it's like his leadership weren't even in there. And we were discussing this.
I think. I think with those, I think even with that, okay. And by the way, I'm not saying that because obviously those games are gonna, of course, I see it with Gerrard where he's just gone missing or whatever in games, right? But I think even looking at that with like a Henderson, you're talking about a ratio of probably like for every 7 games, there's 1 game where that comes. Whereas
Yeah,
Trent,
I,
ratio is
but
a
I think,
lot smaller.
but I think we got to remember as well that it's his first season as vice captain. He's not the captain, and he's 24. Was 24, just turned 25, going into going into the season. Henderson got the captaincy at 24, 25. And when he had that captaincy thing, people weren't looking at him as no leader and that. People were saying, "Why the hell is he our captain?" So he had to grow into that role. When Gerrard got the captaincy, Gerrard wasn't no leader in it. He was looking around thinking, "Yeah, McAllister, can you like tell me what to do?" He spoke about it. He didn't feel like he was the leader. He had to go and grow into it. So I'm saying this season I've seen Trent looks much more mature. When you go and hear him talk, last season he was talking about, I want to be a midfielder. I want to be a midfielder. I want to. This season, even when he spoke in Gary Neville, he was like, "No, look, I see myself as a right back. Look, until that changes, it's cool. I like playing in midfield, but I'm a right back." Like there's a maturity to him, which goes and suggests that there's leadership, and the leadership off the pitch we're not privy to. We don't know why he was given that. So you don't know how he is. Like when Bradley was talking about Trent,
he said he had a free role, Jerry. He said he had a free role.
A free role.
A free
role. No, he didn't. That's nonsense.
He said he had a free role, mate. That's a fact.
Let's put money on it. Let's put money on it. When he spoke about from an attacking standpoint, he's got a free role to go and pick up positions. But when he got and spoke, he didn't say, "I've got a free role." No. Though it's not nuts, because that's the whole premise of the team.
Nobody should have a free role.
Solutions.
Nobody should have a free role in a club team.
K-Mac.
We know how we feel about the Trent conversation.
No, but saying whether I don't care. But technically, I'm not talking about whether you think he should be a fallout. He should only do this. He should only do that. That's Klopp saying that you're going to go and give this player a free role here. It's, for example, when you had other players have a free role. When you go and look at, for example, Mbappe, you don't just stick out on the left wing. They tell him to go and float around everywhere. What I'm saying is different teams have different solutions to what they want to go and do. We're not discussing that. What I'm saying is there's a maturity in the way he's doing it.
Jerry, this isn't a striker. This is a guy who's in a position where we get rinsed daily. Every single team just attacks down our right-hand side.
And that is the risk that the manager wants to play with. The manager's not telling. But wait, the manager's not telling.
You can't have a free role as a right back.
I'm not even. Like, I've got onto Trent. Yeah, but that's the manager's situation, though. How can you get onto a?
I know.
So I'm talking about the player, though. So why are we talking about where he's playing?
It's not.
But that's got nothing to do with what I'm saying. I'm saying that from this season, there's been a maturity to his game to the point where even that's Bradley and Kwanzaa, they've spoken about the fact that Trent's gone and helped them in the change room and stuff. I'm saying clearly there's something that he's doing off the pitch that has mean he's got an vice captaincy, and it's something that he's to grow the role into. Of course, he's not no Carragher, he's not no Tony Adams as a leader. No, but when you look at this team right now, like we spoke about with G, there aren't many leaders at that. That's one thing that we're missing. We're missing the Milners, we're missing the Henderson. But when we're talking about, like, again, that's got like his positioning on the pitch of what he's being asked to do, like whether that's Salah, whether that's Robbo, whether that's whoever, that's got nothing to do with whether they're leadership or not, leaders or not. Because guess what? If we had gone and played Henderson as a striker, that's got nothing to do with his leadership on the pitch. That's to do with the manager. That's got nothing to do with the character of the individual, which is more important than whether he's playing up front, whether he's got a free role, whether he's a winger, whether he's a flipping go-go dancer in a strip club. Like, I mean, it doesn't matter. It's the character. That's why he was given the vice captaincy clearly. But there's a reason why he wasn't given the captaincy at that point. And that was Virgil, in my opinion.
I think the right player got the captaincy, like 100%.
I don't. But listen, he's the captain now, so neither
what
here,
think, Ali?
neither here nor there.
You think Ali?
Yeah. I think with someone like a Virgil, he is someone. Obviously that's a problem. Of course it is. But I just think Virgil doesn't, to me, ever seem like a leader, even through. You can say through performances, but even the way that Virgil even plays, I always feel like that couldn't be someone that leads even on a pitch because it's so unique in what he kind of does. I.e., for prime example, Messi, Xavi, Iniesta. Messi can never be captain while Xavi's there. Messi's so unique. You can't have him as the captain. Xavi is the orchestrator of the whole thing. He gets everybody ticking. When Puyol was there, Puyol, leader at the back. Even though Messi is the best player on the pitch by like 10 notches, you can't have someone like a Messi being the captain.
But would you say that obviously Xavi had the captaincy not because he was older and he was in the team for longer, is that he commanded that respect in it, like within the team.
Yeah.
Whereas
Virgil
Virgil van Dijk, I'm saying Virgil van Dijk, when you look at that team, he's the only one really, like, I mean, you could give it to maybe Salah, but then again, I don't see him as like a leader. Like, you can't see the whole game, so he's not the one that's probably talking as much.
Mine was by example, really, not by like vocal type. You know what
I mean? But what I'm saying, I mean, because look, but Salah could lead by example. What I'm saying is he's the one that probably commands the most respect. You know, like if Virgil spoke to you, he was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Like like in the squad. I'm not saying he was the best solution in world football, but in the squad, when you think of players that command respect, he's probably the one that, like, you know, Alisson's always talking, but like even when I've played football, you know, when a goalkeeper's talking to you 9 times out of 10, you're like, "Shut up." Like, do you know what I mean? Like at times, like because goalkeepers just they're a bit nuts like that. Do you know what I mean? But cool. But you know, there's certain players in the team, like, you know, Gerrard, that he just commanded the respect. So when he talks, everyone's like, raw, like my man's talking.
You know what's so mad? I think with Gerrard, it was more, it was a bit of that, but I think it was more on the pitch in terms of how he plays.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
he plays.
Facts. But I know what you mean. He embodies that situation. But then you go and look at like a Pogba as an example, right?
Carragher was the talker. Carragher was the guy who do the actual talk.
But then you know, like a Pogba as an example in France. I never looked at Pogba as no leader at United, didn't. But clearly in that French dressing room, in that he commanded that respect. Whereas when he went, he didn't talk all the time on the pitch. But when he was talking, people looked at him like, "Yeah, you're that leader." By Juventus, he weren't no leader. And at Man United, his performances never suggested he was any leader. If anything, he was more like a Trent. He looked like he was down in tools all the time. So that's why I'm saying we're not privy to what goes on in the change room. We don't know how it was when Henderson left, why Trent got it. Do you know what I mean? Like, who would revel with that responsibility and who would shy away from it? Because there's certain players we might give it to, and they'll just end up playing dead because it's too much for them. It's too heavy. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
no, it's true. No, we look at this.
How about you, G? Who about you, G? Who are you getting rid of though? On the third, you know, the 3 players. You didn't say. Yeah, you didn't say.
I would probably get rid of. Probably none, and just have it on a basis where I'm just like, I'm not gonna actively try and sell, but I'm gonna look at bids for all 3 of them. Like, I'll just look at it and be like, I mean, if bids came in for all 3 that were what I would consider to be good bids, I'll just sell them. Like, I'll literally sell them, because I would look at it and just think to myself, Trent is the more difficult one though, because obviously he's the youngest one out of all of them, right? And I think with Trent, I think he's gonna be the hardest one to convince in terms of what his role is going to be in terms of playing style, position, etc. Because obviously he's not going to do, well, it's not going to be the same as it was under Jurgen Klopp, right? So what he was doing there, the manager may not ask him to do that. So if he doesn't ask him to do that, is he going to be happy with whatever the manager is asking him to do next? If he's not happy with that, that's where the conversation now has to come in, where it's like, all right, no worries, we'll just sell you. It's that kind of simple. Where Salah and Van Dijk are different is because they're older. They're like, they're in their 32 and 30, was it 31 and 32 or 32 and 33, whatever it is. So they're at that end of their kind of careers. So I'm looking at them. I'd probably, out of the 2, Salah and Van Dijk, I'd probably say I would rather probably keep Van Dijk, because you ain't, as you mentioned before about centre backs, you ain't gonna, the money even anyway, unless it's really good money, which I don't know if it would be, you're not really going to keep. Salah's going to get you money though, I think anyway. That will get you 100 plus, I think, if someone was to try and come in for him. So he'd probably be the likeliest out of all 3. But Trent is a difficult one. I am looking at Trent and thinking, trying to convince him is that's going to be trying to convince him of what his role is in the team. That's where I'm just looking at thinking the manager's got a job on his hands in that conversation.
We had
I don't know.
we had this conversation as well about who would sign Trent if he did leave, and obviously Real Madrid was the team that came up. He's going to go back in as a right back anyway. He's basically going to play as a right back for Real Madrid because he's not going to get in their midfield.
No, but I don't think he goes into.
Got too many.
I think
he got too many. Modric.
No, he's not. But he's not going there to play midfield, though.
Like,
that's the point.
Jude Bellingham.
He won't go there to play
Valverde,
midfield.
You know what I mean?
He'll go there to play as what he's been playing under Klopp at this current moment in time, which is I'm going to go into the midfield
and get on the ball and get on the ball. Yeah,
and get on the ball. Yeah,
because remember, Modric is going. If they're going to go and sign a player like that, they don't want him just to stay up, do a Danny Carvajal. Like, remember, they're not.
But they need a Danny Carvajal.
Yeah, but they're not. But Real Madrid don't look at it like that. Real Madrid are just going to find other solutions. They're going to be like, all right, at left back, we're just going to have someone that stays back then. And we're just going to have, do you know what I mean? And we're going to just, they're creative. Ancelotti, you saw it in that game. There were pants in that first half. You make a slight tactical change, all of a sudden they look like a different team. And that's the way Real Madrid are going to go and play. Again, Modric is leaving. So Modric ain't going to be there. Cruz might be leaving. Do you know what I mean? So that you never know what type of midfield they're going to go and look at. And they've got Camavinga, they've got Tchouaméni, they've got Bellingham. And Bellingham seems to be this forward. They've got Valverde. Who else in midfield? No one. No one.
Two others. They have got two others, but I can't.
Yeah, but come on. No, but that's my point.
I know.
Arda Güler and who's a winger, number 10 again. Like, you never know what they'll probably look at it and be like, yeah, cool. You know what? We're bringing this player in because he affects games, innit? And we're gonna have to just fit him in. That's the way they're gonna look at it.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think even with like having someone like Trent in your team, where they've been playing Tchouaméni as this kind of centre back at times, I think then if Trent does start doing it in, like for example, if they got a flat back four, and I think they're looking at Alphonso Davies, and you've got Trent, obviously straight away you immediately think, oh my goodness, I've got two just attack-minded kind of players, right? You just get someone like a Tchouaméni who fills into that back two. Now you got a back three. I reckon they're calm with that, and then having your Tchouaméni and Camavinga. Yeah, no, but I don't think he's not a natural. If they can get an Alphonso Davies, it just makes sense for them to get someone like him. Like if you can get him. But
the thing about it as well,
I think Trent is the difficult one.
The thing about it as well, and hopefully we can move away from Trent because
I want to get into these.
The guy really split so many opinions. Is
I like Trent.
Will we really miss Trent if he goes? Because how good's Bradley been? No, I'm just saying. Like this is literally Bradley's first 20 games in a red shirt. Like, how good can he be?
I think that's disingenuous to Trent, though.
No, but I mean, will we miss him as much as we think we will miss him? Like, he was at the team and we won loads of games. Like, that's just a fact.
No.
But Alisson was at the team and we won loads of games. Exactly. Salah was at the team and we won loads of games. But you're telling me Salah needs to play as this creative player. If anything, you could say that, we don't need Salah because if we've got a system, we don't need a person that's going to score 30, 40 goals a season. You can just do what City and what Arsenal have done even this season, where you've got one player that scores 14 goals and the rest are just split around the team because of the system.
Yeah, I think
I'm just asking.
No. I'm not saying this. Listen, I'm not saying that you can't play Bradley like that. Bradley's not good enough, unfortunately, in that kind of sense where we're going to sit here and say, yeah, well, if we sold Trent, we got Bradley. I don't think that's going to be an adequate enough replacement for someone like Trent. Now, if you had someone else like a Gomez,
we've also got Gomez.
And again, now we're trying to just square pegs round holes with this kind of situation. I think if you're going to let go of someone like a Trent, you need to get in an adequate enough replacement. Bradley is not that. Not to say that Bradley is not good. He is a very good player. But to say that you're going to replace him with Bradley, it's like we're being disingenuous now to Trent, and we're making it seem like anyone can just come in and just replace Trent. I don't think it's that.
We're all talking about Trent provides this, Trent does this. We've now got midfielders that do that. We never had that before. So that's why Trent was so valuable to us, because we didn't have midfielders that could that could
Yeah,
provide assists
I
and
actually
create goals.
agree with that. I
Now we've
actually
got
agree
all
with
that.
that. The question is Szoboszlai is Szoboszlai more important? Like, could you swap Szoboszlai and Trent out, and is Trent more effective? And I guess that's what Slot's going to have to go and see when people talk about game going into midfield. Is McAllister as influential as a Trent would be if he had a season in midfield? Obviously, these are questions. I'm not saying he is or isn't. Is he more influential than having Curtis Jones or Harvey Elliott or whatever player we've got in there? Because you're saying we've got players in there that do it, but they don't really do it, innit? Or they haven't done it to a consistent level anyway. So that's the question. I think Bradley, I actually think I think he could be good enough as a right back. I actually think he could. I just think again, it's the Trent. He has to just go and play midfield, innit? For me, he just has to play midfield. And then it's about whether he's good enough to be a midfielder. I think if he goes and plays out wide, I think in the way Slot's probably going to want to use his fullbacks, unless he wants to do the inverted thing again, he's going to want someone that's going to be up and down. And having Trent do up and down, the last time he was doing that was Arsenal away when we lost 2-0, and he didn't get the ball at all because he was just out of the game. But you need him getting on the ball now because he's that influential in the game, that on the ball. So it's a sticky one, man. It's probably the most difficult.
Yeah, and this is why I said it's like he's the tricky one, because you're having to, I think, listen, Slot will do what Slot's going to do. If Trent doesn't want to do that, then Trent obviously is going to have to leave regardless. I don't agree, though, with the Bradley thing. I wouldn't be comfortable if he was the starting right back next season. I don't think he's good enough to that degree where I'm like, yeah, bang, I've got him there. I think he's a fantastic option to have in some games here, some games there, but obviously, and we won't know, of course, until we see him play, blah, 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 all of that kind of good stuff. I get it, but even with what's his name, with like a Kwanzaa, as good as I think Kwanzaa is, if Konate was fit, I'm not taking Kwanzaa. I'm still going to take Konate because he's still a better player than a Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa does better.
So?
Yeah, 100%. I think Kwanzaa does better things, i.e. good on the ball. If you're asking about defending, though, I think overall Konate is a better defender.
Do you think Bradley? Why do you think Bradley's not good enough? That's a question. That's actually interesting. I think he is. I think he is.
I think when we're saying good enough, we're saying good enough to replace the guy who's already there. I think outside of positional sense, I don't see Bradley good at really anything really else. Like, his positional sense seems really, really good in that, in terms of where he needs to be defensively. Outside of that, I think he's kind of just like your kind of bog standard right back, where he gets forward every now and again. Hasn't even got in my opinion, the quality of even a Robertson or putting the ball in the box. And I don't even think Robertson. Yeah, 100%. But he's not really proven that. Obviously, he's not played that, and that, really, like, the sample size that we're looking at.
We don't really play like that anymore. Like, we don't play like that anymore. We play everything through the inverted, and he hasn't really played the inverted.
Okay, perfect. Then if we play through the inverted again, in terms of the sample size we have seen, he's not proven that he's someone who can invert very, very well.
He has though. But he has. I think when he's
again, look at the film. That's like me saying someone's been great for 3 games, and then I'm going to judge it on those 3 to 5 games. The sample size you guys are talking about
I get
so
you.
small to then say that that's good enough to then say, but he'd be good enough for things.
How many games has Bradley played this season? He must have played like 20 games.
I think it's 20. I mean,
yeah, let's
25 games.
Right. 25 games. Yeah.
I remember there was a time where we were thinking about getting that Livramento and all these players to play at fullback. I think he's equally
someone who's very, very versatile. Yeah, he's very, very good player.
Bradley got 8 goals last season, by the way, for Bolton. Sorry, Jerry. Bradley got 8 goals for Bolton last season. Like, I don't think Bradley's been played.
What he's doing for Bolton. I can't lie.
I don't think Bradley's been played in the best position for him.
In big games, he scored goals for Liverpool as well. Assisted goals for Liverpool as well. I don't know. I think with the Bradley one, I think he's actually good enough. I actually think
no.
The youngsters that have come
listen
through,
to what we're saying.
He's good enough to be starting right back for Liverpool.
But okay, and this probably goes back to the conversation that me and you were having the other day, is where you're looking at Liverpool. If Bradley is your starting right back, that's where I'm then going to look at it and think to yourself, oh, this kind of reminds me of Liverpool before we won the Champions League and stuff. If you're saying we're at that level, okay, now I can get with it. If you're not saying that, he cannot be the right back, brother. Like that's impossible for him to be your starting right back, because he's not good enough to be a starting right back for a team who's supposed to be challenging at the top end. That like, he's never been that good. I'm not saying he can't be, by the way. Obviously over time he'll probably get there, but that's where you're looking at. So what level of team are you? If you're at that level where you're trying to go for that, of course, like, he can be the starting right, but that's calm. Like, I don't care about, like, Trent. Okay, prime is Trent. When Trent came into the team, we weren't this team. So obviously that level of Trent was calm for what we were trying to do. And we had no other right backs, of course, in the team. But now you're talking about Liverpool are supposed to be up there, challenging with Arsenal, Manchester City, also challenging in the Champions League. Like, we're completely different space. Man cannot be the star. What he can be, as Revenant is saying here, perfect backup. That's a great backup. Someone to learn off a more complete right back. That's fine.
Yeah,
I'm
no, but the
with
thing
that.
is, he can't
I'm
learn
good
from
with
Trent.
him
But the
doing
thing
that.
is, he can't learn from Trent. Like, of course he can, but what I'm saying, Trent is so unique. It's not like he's going into it and he's going in as backup to Carl Walker, and he's looking at Carl Walker. He's looking at
No,
Trent, thinking, I can't spray passes like you. So
no,
again,
but
what
you
I'm
don't have
saying is,
to. But you don't have. I'm not saying yes, but he doesn't have to do any of that. The point I'm trying to make is that obviously you're going to be behind this guy, so I'm not saying you have to learn everything in terms of like being able to. Obviously, his role is going to be completely different to what they will be asking of Trent. Trent's got more of this kind of move into midfield, pick up the ball, get forward with it in central areas, pop it out wide if you need to, play those passes. He's not going to do all of that. I get that. He will just be more, as I said, your bog standard right back. That's also fine. And if you need it in certain games, that's also fine as well. Might come up against a certain team where it's like, I don't necessarily need a Trent because we're not going to play in that kind of way. That's cool. But to look at it and say, let's say if Trent was to leave, I'm just not, again, this is just my opinion. I'm just not comfortable with him being the starting right back moving forward. If I felt he was better, then I would say 100%. I would definitely take that forward. Like,
what do you think he needs to improve on? What do you think he needs to improve on?
Just
Bradley.
overall general play. I'll be honest, it's literally just your overall general play. Lack of experience, of course. He hasn't really got the experience because he's just come in. I know he'll gain that over time. There are times in the game where you can see the experience of him in terms of where he's trying to pick up the ball, when he's trying to go forward and get back. I know he'll obviously obtain these things throughout time of getting game time. I think in terms of his defending, where I think he's better than Trent because I think Trent's a better 1v1 defender still anyway, but where he's good at 1v1.
Impossible.
No. Bradley's
Trent better than
one
Bradley.
on one
You think
defender.
Bradley's good at 1v1 defending?
1,000,000%.
brilliant.
That's why he's good. Because that's why he's good. 1v1, like, he's not getting beaten.
He's not getting beaten. Okay, cool. We'll wait for Bradley
to
wait for Bradley thing.
G, you need to watch Doku against Bradley.
And you need to watch Trent versus Ronaldo. And you need to watch Trent versus all these other players. We can do we can see what he's doing.
This was when Trent was a right back. Like Bradley was doing both in those games.
But that's what we're talking about. Like,
I don't know.
That's why I'm not even going to do the whole
next
comparison
season,
versus other players.
I think next season, I think Slot's got a job on with those two because he's going to have to pick which one he wants as a right back. Like whether it's Trent, whether it's
I feel
Bradley.
Like
I think it's going to be Bradley.
Bradley actually
I
is.
really
like,
do.
He's not
I think
as
it'll be
good
Bradley
as the way that you lot are talking about. Man are saying he's good in the 1v1,
he's a better
and then
defender.
you want to bring up Doku. That's like me, like I just said there. Okay, let me bring up when Trent at the age of 19.
No, but I didn't. No, but
I can only give you the most. I can only give you the most important game this season.
No, one thing I won't do is be like, oh, did you see me against this player and that player? But I'm saying that if you had to ask me, but that's what I'm saying. But what I would say is when you're talking about what Bradley is good at, is the fact that he's like a two-way player. He's really good going forwards, but defensively he's really good.
Okay,
that's why he's not someone where I look at it and it's like, yeah, going forward you're cool, but you're like Alberto Moreno defensively, like you're still wary. Like when we were playing him there a lot of games because like defensively he's good. Like he's going to be calm down that side. Like 1v1, cool. He's going to be really, really good. He's tenacious. He's going to get there. He's not really going to get caught out in some mad position. Like he switched on defensively, and that's the positive of Bradley. I think where I think Bradley can potentially improve is what you said. Is delivery. Is like, can his final end product be like that much better? Can he get to maybe try up it up, maybe learn that from Trent? But when I'm talking about what Bradley's good at, for me, it's the fact that not only is he like good going forward, it's defensively he's good. It's like, wow, defensively he's good.
I think it's very bog standard with both. I think even if you want to call him a two-way player, that's calm. I can live with that. But it's two-way at the most average of levels. Like it's not anything to really write home about. And this is what I mean when I'm saying man are being so disingenuous with someone. And I didn't even want to be here doing Trent prop. I don't even care like that about Trent. But the way man are talking, it's like you've just watched 8 years of a brother being shit defensively when that is not true. It can never, ever be true kind of thing. We've watched a player who is obviously going forward. We know it's not a competition and it's not even about that going forward. Man's still super calm going back. Does he have the lapses in concentration? 1,000,000%. Of course he has that. That's just in his game.
You're missing the point completely, mate, here. Like, it's a clean slate. If you're putting Bradley and Trent against each other, having to do what Slot wants them to do, Bradley wins all day long because he needs a defender, mate.
Trent? Yeah, you pick Trent.
He needs a defender. Trent doesn't want to
You
defend.
pick Trent. No, that doesn't make any sense. You literally
we know he doesn't want to be a defender.
Situation.
Well, you pick
and
Trent.
He's been a defender for the last 8 years.
I'm telling you, mate, if you're putting a pair of them together in pre-season, I know Bradley's going to be the better man because Trent's not going to want to do all the other things that Bradley doesn't do.
What is he going to be good at? What is he going to be good at?
Trent wants to do all the things that Bradley doesn't do, like play long balls.
And what does Bradley do
diagonals.
that is so much better than Trent? That's the point I'm trying to get. What does Bradley do?
But that's not what Slaughter wants. Slot won't want his right back to do that.
So he doesn't want his right back to be good on the ball. He doesn't want his right back to have good delivery. So you're saying that Trent Slot's gonna come in and say, I don't want my fullbacks to have good delivery. Is that what we're saying? Because he doesn't have that. So if he doesn't have that, already we've negated something right there and then. That's something that Trent is infinitely better.
What he'll want is he'll probably want to put Trent in midfield.
But we're acting like Trent. No. If he moves into midfield, that's.
So then we have Bradley as a right back.
But if he doesn't
that's
do
what we're
that,
trying to say.
No, but you're not trying to say that because the
we're trying to say Bradley will be the first team right back.
Don't switch the conversation. The conversation was if Trent was to leave, would you be happy having Bradley at the right back position? That's where I pushed back. We weren't talking about if Trent moves into midfield. He's the only right back that we've got. I don't see us potentially buying another one. So, of course, in that situation, if he moves, because you're still going to have 2 right backs plus Joe Gomez. We're talking about if Trent was to leave completely, you guys are both saying, it's calm because we have Bradley there. That's where I push back on. Because you guys are both
what I said is for me, I want Trent in the team. I don't want him at right back because I think Bradley...
But that wasn't the conversation.
That doesn't mean that Trent doesn't have more ability than Bradley. But it's like I don't want to go and see like if someone gave me the option of having Tony as a main striker and Salah out as a main striker. I want Tony as the number 9. Because I know Tony is more equipped to go and do that. That doesn't mean Salah ain't got a better left foot. That doesn't mean Salah's movement isn't better. That doesn't mean Salah can go and give you more moments of magic. That doesn't mean that at all.
No, but we know that Tony's a better striker than Salah.
For me, I think Bradley is easily on par with the likes of Malo Gusto. I think he's on par with Livramento. I think he's on par with any Gutrida. Like, I don't think there's that much of a difference. I think Gutrida's shown he can play centre back and left back, and we haven't seen that from Bradley. So a very, very versatile player. But what I'm saying is I think Livramento's of a level Bradley's of a level now where next season for me, he either makes that step to become, I'm the right back at Liverpool, or you shot the brother. I don't want this another Nico Williams brother where we got a brother here and we just running around and stuff. And I don't think he's like that player at all. I think he goes and shows he's got good understanding of coming inside when he has done, and he's got good ability to go and play. I think he's got good energy. I think he's very tenacious as a fullback. And again, that doesn't negate what Trent's got. And I'm not saying that I don't want Trent's ability in the team. But in a situation where Trent goes and leaves, you are not going to go and replace Trent with another centre, with another right back that's got the delivery and the ability like Trent. And I think what Bradley offers you as a fullback, again, I think you can go out into the market and get a better midfielder, not a Soboslai and any of these guys, but I think you can get a better midfielder that offers you that creativity. That doesn't mean that I don't want Trent in the team if we've got him, if that makes sense. That's how I'm rating Bradley. That's how I'm rating Bradley.
No, listen, I think it's more this situation. As soon as someone plays good for a couple games, it's always like a case of, he's good. He's the sickest, he's the best. And that's that's the same way I feel with someone like a Bradley, is that, not saying he didn't play good. Of course he did. Played absolutely calm. But if man was to play my best, obviously, in the situation of if we still had, of course, a Trent, and let's say Slot, when Slot comes in, should I say, and you're picking your best team for whatever game, whether it's against Madrid or City, whoever, man's definitely not picking Bradley. I can tell you that for free. If Trent can only play if you're saying Trent can only play in the right back and he couldn't go into midfield because we've got whoever in midfield, I'm definitely not picking Bradley, bro. Like that.
For me, something like that. I think Trent. I think with Trent, yes. I think if you're saying, oh, we can either have Trent or not, it's because again, Trent is very, very unique as a thing. But in the situation where you said if Trent's not in the team and Trent goes and we've got Bradley, I'm calm with having Bradley there because for me, it's very situational. It's like,
I'd rather get like
okay, cool. Bradley 1v1 as an example. If we're playing against Chelsea, I want Bradley playing 1v1 against Sterling. I think he got him in his pocket. I don't think Trent has Sterling in his pocket at all. Not only because of the fact that
he's had him in his pocket, but we've seen man having his pocket though.
No, we've seen Liverpool. All right.
We could be having this conversation all day long because he splits opinions so much. He just does. I just think in a system,
and I'm not even trying to rate Trent that high.
In a system, in a system which Slot will play, which is a 4-2-3-1, where his wing backs need to defend because we've only got two pivots in midfield, so we haven't got three in midfield. We've got two pivots
and get forward.
Yeah, then I want a more defensive-minded player, and I don't want a guy that drifts into midfield and starts like getting in midfield because that's not what Slot wants. So I think Trent will probably play in midfield. Like he could do the Max Weifer role. Like for me, I think he's probably good enough, but it's whether he wants to do that. But I mean, I've got to be honest. There's probably only 3 teams that Bradley wouldn't get into. For me, he's that good, mate. He's that good.
Now we're doing too much. Now we're just doing too much.
He really is. He's played all the games he's played. He's been absolutely sensational. He just
that's fantastic for Bradley.
Like the first 5 games, he was probably man of the match. His first 5 games, he's probably man of the match in all of them.
And that's great.
This guy's a real deal. This guy's a real deal.
I'm not even trying to
plays for me.
I'm not even trying to diss Bradley. I think Bradley's calm. Like I don't think I fully think he is calm. Like I don't have no problem with him being some backup to a good right back. I'm good with him being there, and then you can do your thing whenever we need you every now and again. And you're not gonna look at it and think, oh yeah, Bradley's playing. You'll be like, oh yeah, no, okay, calm, whatever, blah blah blah. And then of course he'll gain that experience. But I'm definitely not sitting here saying if Trent was to leave. Obviously, this is only in this scenario, by the way, people. If Trent was to leave, I'm like, yeah, Bradley's the guy. Like, okay.
So who would you get? In that situation then? Because obviously I don't think anyone here, if we're just to clean it up, I don't think anyone here is saying that they wouldn't have Trent in the team. I think every person here has gone and said, Trent will be in the team, whether it's a midfield, right back, wherever it is. But if Trent was to go, who do you think is out there? You're like, yeah, he needs to come in and he's starting ahead of Trent. Who's out there that you think like raw? And I don't want to go in. Obviously, I don't want to hear Kimmich. Who?
Frimpong starts immediately ahead. Good going forward and good going back. So straight away,
but he plays
as a wing back as well.
But defensively, to be fair, I'll actually send you a link there because when he was at Celtic, defensively they spoke about how he was a mad liability. When he's at Leverkusen now, where he's playing the 3 at the back, and he's at the 3 at the back. Sometimes he's like the furthest man forward. Of course, offensively he's top, He's top. But again, are Liverpool going to be able to go and prize away someone from Leverkusen that's going to call 56? They're
No,
not going to spend
but you just asked me. Look, all you're asking is, who would I pick? That's just a defender.
No. But then
pick
I could no. But
ahead of
that's like
him,
me
though.
saying, oh yeah, Kimmich, or just saying, oh, like the best player in the world.
But hold on. We're talking about a player who's easily obtainable. What, 35 million release clause? Yeah, that's very easy to obtain.
Frimpong's got a 35 million release clause.
Yes,
Yeah,
bro.
yes.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's not like I'm saying he's going to be 80 million. That's different. Okay. Now I'm going to have to start thinking of, bro, 35 million. Bro, you and I both know that FSG would be able to do that.
That's fair. That's fair. Then in that situation, then do you know what I would say with Bradley? Then, if we go along with your thought process, shot him, because for me, the reason why I say that is because there comes a time. How old is he? 22, 21? 20, 21, whatever it might be, right? He needs to start playing games. Yeah. There's none of this. I'm a backup to what? You're 25. How old? How long are you going to be a backup for? He's either the guy now, or you shot the bread up and you get some.
Though, bro.
But that's my point. But this is what I'm saying.
The point is, go on.
But that's what I'm saying. When I look at Bradley, like Frimpong the season before last, no one was talking about Frimpong like that.
And nobody spoke about Bradley. Like,
that's my point. But Bradley hasn't played the whole season. This is my point. You need to go for me, Bradley. The sample size that I've got, which is at 20 games or so, I think Bradley can be a very, 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 very good right back for Liverpool, 100%. And I'm not saying he's going to be better than Frimpong or anything like that. I'm not going to go and say that. What I'm saying is that the sample size that I've had, right? The sample size that I've had gives me assurances that, you know what? This Brenda's like guy that you've got to put faith in now. And the same way you saw a Saka, or the same way you saw these Arsenal players, and they looked at them and were like, you know what? Yeah, you've got to start playing this guy because he can actually develop into that player. That's me for Bradley. For me, Bradley is not like he's a player that's hit his ceiling now and he's just going to give you like 7 out of 10, 6 out of 10. If that's the case, shot him now. It's great. We put him on the market, shot that Breda. But for me, he's not like a Nico Williams. He's that level above. I think he can be that right back for Liverpool. That's my opinion, and that's my opinion. That's not to say that, again, right now at this moment in time, there's right backs that are better than men in the world. No. But what I'm saying is I think we could equally, as you're saying that we could go and just get another fullback and you're right, I think we could be in a situation where next season, if Bradley just goes and gets game time, like I said, the most important thing for players is to get consistent game time. We could be sitting there thinking with Bradley being like, rah, you know what? Bradley's had one of the best seasons as one of the best fullbacks in the Prem, and I think we could be in that situation. That's my positioning on Bradley. That's not to say right now he's world class. No. And I'm not saying he's going to get world class.
Can I just say something on that as well? For a guy to come in when so many big players are missing out the team, and they were, by the way, like we had players that had gone the AFCON. So we'd lost Endo, we'd lost Salah, Trent was out, there was midfielders out, I think there was forwards missing, like and for him to come in and literally rip up trees, like he ripped up trees, like he was man of the match for like 3 games in a row. He got like goals, assists, like he was absolutely insane. For him to be able to do that as a 20-year-old. Is something special. It really is. And I don't want his path to be blocked. I just don't. I don't want these players' paths to be blocked because they've been blocked before by Klopp because he's gone back to his old guard or the old players that he always picked all the time. And this is the situation we're in now. Like Bradley's injured now. Like, do you think Bradley might have played if he was fit? And Trent?
But you know one thing I'd say. No, I don't think
it feels like an Andy Robinson for me. It feels like an Andy Robinson for me when he came in and just stayed.
What I'm saying is with a Bradley, 100%. But this is the situation. Again, it's opinions on what you go and see with regards to potential. If anyone goes and sits there and thinks, yeah, Bradley's a calm backup. Yeah, we don't need that type of backup. I think you can go out there and get for me anyway, you can get an experienced player that's a backup that, you know, in games where you need experience, like a Milner, you go and bring them in, and they could be that experienced player for you. I think that's a better kind of backup.
So that means we have to shot. That means we have to shot Trent then. That like you're the only from what you both are both saying.
No. That's why I'm saying I want to see him in midfield. No, that's why I'm saying for me, I only see his future in midfield. That's why I was saying I only see his future in midfield. If we're playing him as a right back, I'm saying I think that's a situation where even within himself, I think he says, I'm not even trying to play right back anymore, because he seems like he doesn't want to even play that position anymore. So for me, if you're going to go and say he can only go and play right back, that's where I'm saying Slot's got a massive problem on his hands, because he's now going to have a player that doesn't necessarily want to go and play the position that he's being told to. And of course, if you're not going to play it to 100%, and we just spoke about him, the type of player that might down tools, just look around and be like, Dad, I ain't even doing this, man. I'm not tracking that brother back. This is long. If you're going to have a player like that, then you need to obviously get rid of him. That's not to say he's not a good player. I want Trent in the team, but I think for me, he needs to go in midfield. And I think that pathway for Bradley, I think Bradley can be that guy. The backup can be Gomez, and then you again, if you want even a better backup, you bring someone that's mad experienced, that's like 28, flipping 29, you get him on a cheap, but he's like a solid right back where, like you can put a Milner in there and he just does a job and you're like, calm, he gives you 6, 7 out of 10 every single game. But Bradley's pathway has to be clear, because I think he can be that guy. Now, if we think he's a backup, then shot the brother, then shot him. Because at that point, we might as well go and get, again, like you said, a Frimpong for 35 million and open up that space where Trent, you got a situation now where Trent, you either shot him or you play him in midfield and you got a Frimpong there that's there for the next 5 years or so. But I think Bradley can be that guy, personally. Personally. But that's not to say I think Bradley's world class. I'm stating it again for the chat.
I already knew.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I just think, like before Saka became Saka, he had to have that pathway in it. And someone in the team had to look at him and be like, you know what? Yeah, cool. That's that pathway for him. And they started to bench like
I think Saka's pathway is almost like Trent's pathway, where it was kind of easy pathway. Like there wasn't anybody else in that position. Like
but remember, he was playing left back at first, innit? That first season,
and this is the point. They ended up seeing what he can do and figured out that this guy can actually play a lot better further forward. And he only played at that left wing back purely because of necessity. That wasn't even his position. He just played there purely because they had no one else who can play as.
Did he play there for the academy? Didn't he play there for the academy? I'm not sure. I don't want to say he did or didn't.
When I'm watching the academy videos, I'm not really seeing him too far. I'm seeing him more left wing. So maybe in terms of him moving to that right side, fair enough. I can say, yeah, once he decided to do, or once he developed, that's when he's doing it. But when I'm watching him for the academy, to me, he's playing left wing. Like they're not really playing a left wing back, in academy football, so to speak. But even when you look at Trent, for example, Trent obviously only gets the pathway because Klein gets injured. If Klein doesn't get injured, we don't see Trent making that debut, having a somewhat good game, and then we don't see the Trent that we obviously see today. Again, Bradley doesn't get that pathway if Trent doesn't get himself injured. So maybe it might be the natural passing of that player gets injured.
Yeah, and the way I see it is like, you see like Rico Lewis. I know he was injured this season, so it kind of curtailed what he was going to go and do this season. But you see Rico Lewis, they're in a situation where Man City were in a situation where they've got an aging fullback in Kyle Walker that does get injuries, but is again mad experience, can play at centre back. And they've got a channel there opening up for him where it's like, yeah, you're going to go and play. Now, of course, he got injured, and that meant they had to move him over there, and it kind of curtailed things. But that's what I think we need to go and do with Bradley. And I'm not saying Rico Lewis is better than Bradley or vice versa. I'm not getting into that discussion. People should know what my opinions are on how good I think Rico Lewis is. But I'm saying that there's that pathway where I think you have to, at one point, be like, yeah, this is the guy. And I think if he's not the guy, then you might as well just shot him, because you're wasting the club's time. Like you just said, I didn't know Frimpong's release clause is 35 M's. If you don't think Bradley can get to a level, shot this guy now for 20 M's, which you'll be able to go and do, 15, 20 M's, and go and put half of that money or all that money onto half of Frimpong's release clause. That's the way you got to operate.
Yep.
I think it's going to be interesting, because I know that, and I'll get onto this last bit of the contracts, because this is for 2026, I think, yeah, and then we'll head out. But I think what's interesting for me is, I know everyone keeps talking about him going into midfield, but me personally, I just don't think that that's a clever option from Slot, purely because then you do not have any defensive stability, I feel, within a midfield pairing that would consist of potentially a McAllister and a Trent. I just don't see why he would put himself in a position where you could just have McAllister or Trent, whichever one out of the two that you want to have there, and actually have your defensive midfielder in that position, whoever that might be, who's more defensively minded. So whether that is Endo and they decide to keep him, whether that is you go out and sign someone else, I just think that from watching how they even play, I don't even see anybody in Slot's team who's even remotely like a Trent who plays in that pivot position. So I'm just like, they've already got a McAllister type player in their midfield. I don't see why they would need two of those kind of players in there.
You're right.
And like I said, that's only listen. You could play either Trent or you could play either McAllister. I don't care which one.
I think that's the problem. I actually agree with that. I think when we look at it, it's like I know Matt K-Mac, you're saying that you think that Viper can be like Trent. I don't think so. Viper's all over the pitch. He's all action. He's like, sitting at the base of the midfield. You need to get another 6 to go and do that. Then that's got a bit more legs on him. And then if you got a 6, you either play McAllister as the number 10, which then you've got a question with what do you do with Salah, right?
Yeah.
You either play McAllister as the deeper player, exactly. But then you got Soberslide there. And if you do that, then what happens to Jones? What happens to Elliott? What happens to Trent? What happens to Soberslide? What happens to Endo? What happens to Bajcetic? Because people want to forget about that brother as well. Apparently, he's this godly player. Where are you playing all these players?
You're right.
And that's the tricky one. That's the tricky thing. Because I want Trent in the team, but I don't want him at right back anymore. I don't think it works.
I'm good with the thing is what's so mad about it. As much as I'm saying, listen, if I had a choice, I would just keep Trent at the right back because I just don't trust him in that pivot. But if I had to put him in that pivot, I can't have a pivot of McAllister and Trent. I'm sorry, that to me that doesn't give me any level of security where I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm good with this going forward. Yes, they're going to be nice on the ball and all of that, but as Jerry said, like. I'm just using the way that Slot plays his football. I'm not saying he might not adapt it a little bit, but I'm just thinking with the way that we do or he does play his football, having someone like a Trent and McAllister in the middle, brother, the same problems that we're having now are going to be the same problems we're going to have anyway, because you're not going to have that defensive security. But
can I ask you a question?
Okay.
If you rate Trent so highly as a right back, why can't he play as a centre back? Right backs and left backs play centre backs all the time. Why can't he play as that centre back? I've
never believed that players who can just play because you can play in one position, you must be able to play in another position. Because what it takes to do in one position isn't the same as what it takes. But that's like me saying, well, why wouldn't can John Terry play right back? I don't think so. I don't think he would have been a good right back.
Nathaniel Klein played as a centre back against us at Anfield, and they didn't concede a goal. Like
in a back three, but
Luke Shaw plays as a centre back all the time,
bro. Like if you showed me that Klein has been playing centre back this whole season,
I'm just saying,
okay, cool. He can develop.
I'm just saying, would you trust him as a centre back? Like, would you trust him in a back three?
No, I would not put him as a centre back in any way, shape, or form. He's a right back. That is all he is. Same way I wouldn't put Konate out at right back. Like he cannot play that position. Regardless of what we think in terms of his own abilities, you can just see that whatever right back you want to do, whether it's a bombing forward right back, whether it's a right back who just does like the chilling thing, Konate is not good at that. What he is good at is being a centre back in the spaces that he needs to cover. Same with Trent. He's good at being the right back because of the spaces that when he was the normal right back.
Yeah, K-Mac.
I think centre backs just blew the chat up.
K-Mac. I think that's a bit mad because it's like saying, yeah, why can't McAllister like he plays the centre mid? Why isn't he good as a 6? And it's like, yeah, because that's just not like his body. Like again, he just doesn't fit that position naturally. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's Dele Alli as an example was a centre mid, but could play as a striker and was cool. You wouldn't have Modric playing as a striker.
Yeah, but only Slot converts his right back into a centre back.
No. He does that, but it depends on the players you've got, isn't it? So, like, we could go and see Trent go into midfield. We've seen Kimmich do that, but Kimmich don't play centre back. But Kimmich plays in midfield.
But the question I was saying, Jerry, was if he's good enough to be in midfield, will he defend as a centre back? Like, and I don't think he will.
You don't defend the same way in midfield as you do as a centre back.
It's different. It's different.
It's a completely different role. Like. Like, let's put it this way, yeah.
If anything, him defending in midfield is more suited to what he actually done under Klopp, because Klopp's been telling him to jump at the press, just press the furthest man. So if he's going to do that in midfield, that's your role. That's what Henderson used to do all the time. But when you're at right back, our problem is that he's pressing and leaving gaps in behind when he's being told to press, and they're targeting that area.
Okay. Yeah, nah, let's just say, man, definitely, like, not every player can just be turned into just every different position. I don't think football has ever worked in that kind of parameters where you can just change because you can. It doesn't really work like that. Some players just are the way that they are for whatever reason. It is what it is. I never saw Javi playing left wing. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just, you can't always do because you can play this position. Can you play that position? Sometimes you just play the position that you kind of need to. So yeah, I don't think you could have a Trent playing at centre back. But just before we head out, this one here, obviously 2026, that's in 2 years. We've got these players. Take out Reece Williams because I hope that he goes now. But looking at Kelleher, Robbo, and Konate, when we're looking at those three now, and I didn't want to go any further than 2026 because I said that's 3 years, so we got a bit of time. What do we do with these three, or what do you think happens with the top three, Konate, Robbo, and Kelleher?
Konate, Kelleher goes. I think Kelleher's gone. Like, he wants to, like, again. This is what I've been saying, innit? You see, like Kelleher and that. Unless you're gonna go and tell him now, yeah, like, you're the main guy, like with Bradley. We should have struck him like 2-3 years ago. We've actually been devastating for his career, because he could have easily had a really good career earlier on, become a number one somewhere, like an Alisson did at Roma, and we may be talking about a good like goalkeeper from his perspective. For Liverpool, of course, is a good backup in it, but it's a bit mad.
Cool.
But cool. Kelleher, I think he's gone. Robertson, I think he stays, because I think his role's going to be more or less like a normal left back. Konate will stay, but due to the fact that he's injury prone, and the fact that he's injury prone, and the fact that he's not as good on the ball as a kind of out and out ball playing centre back, that's gonna go and cause some issues for him. Whereas he's gonna have to either adapt, or he might be coming off the bench, or again, you never know. In it, the Premier League might change Slot's mind about certain things. You might have Konate still starting, but yeah, I think he's one that's gonna stay anyway. I think, look, he's a young, 24 years old only, so yeah, still the guy.
Okay, man.
I think Reece Williams will go. I think we'll get the most money we've ever got for a goalkeeper we've sold with Kelleher. I think we'll probably get like 30 million for him, seriously. And
I can see that.
Season.
I can see that.
Robbo, I think Robbo will stay, because Robbo can do what he does now, in a slot system, and the fact that he's had this 6 months off, he's probably had the break that he should have had a long time ago, because he's never been rested. I also think he'll get rotated more. I think Shimmercast will go, if I'm honest. Konate, I'm really not sure about Konate. He'll need a pre-season. I'm really not sure about Konate. But if we're not playing inverted, maybe Konate can make it better. He might be able to work on his passing more. I mean, he tried it at the start of the season. Like, he started coming out the back more and playing the ball into midfield more. So maybe he's got that in his locker. But I still think that Quansah's better suited in a slot system than Konate, and even Gomez. But we'll see. But I still think he'll stay.
I feel you.
What about you, man?
I was just about to say, I would go with, obviously, Reece Williams speaks for himself. Kelleher, I agree with K-Mac. I think we can get a good fee for him, just because of his own ambitions. Not because I'd actually want to sell him. I'd actually prefer to keep him. But I don't know what the goalkeeper, I don't know what Slot would do, in terms of rotation. So he'll probably go. Robbo's a tricky one. I mean, it's 2 years, so I probably would just keep him for 1 more year, but I'd be buying another left back right now. I'd say go out there and sign sign a younger right back and have that right back, a younger left back, and have that left back learning
What left
off.
back? What left back would you be entertaining? Like, name that three. I'm not sure. But I'm just interested to.
Three off the top of the dome, Jesus. 8 Nori.
That's a really good shout because he was an Edwards pick years ago before he went to Wolves.
Where was he?
He was on. Yeah, he came from Metz or somewhere like that in France.
He seems like a weird, like, I don't even know where he came from. Yeah, so 8 Nori. I like Robinson at Fulham.
Too old.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know how old he is.
He's 26. He's 26.
He'll be 27, won't he? I think he's past the kind of sweet spot that they go for, mate.
No, I hear it. Last one. I know that here the Savage said they wouldn't sell, but I don't know why we wouldn't look at someone like a Matson. I don't really know the third one. 8 Nori would actually just be my pick anyway. I think even watching 8 Nori this season, watching his repertoire, like he's not even just doing the fullback thing anymore. This guy was inverting, playing attacking midfield, left wing, and he's playing comfortable in every single position. And defensively, I think he's gotten better. I don't think he's as good as, say, heck, I don't think 8 Nori is as good defensively as a Bradley, for example, but I think he's just good enough where just over time it will just be good enough. And I actually don't even need my fullbacks to be solid in these kind of things. Like, I just need them to have a trait about them that makes them either unique or really, really good. And he's fantastic going forward, comfortable in the attacking third, dribbling ability, can pass, like all of those kind of things. That's what I love about him. So I would get someone like him. He'd be my choice anyway. I don't know how old he is, by the way. Like, if he's young, old.
I think he's 20.
24.
24. I think we'll get Kirkez, by the way. I think we'll sign Kirkez.
I looked at Kirkez was someone I wanted last season before he went to Bournemouth. But I don't know.
The reason why is he's a slot signing for Feyenoord. For AK Alkmaar. So he signed him from AC Milan when he was a kid, and then you've got Hughes that signed him for Bournemouth.
No, I would choose, but I didn't.
He's
think
going to be
Bournemouth
really
would
high on
sell
the
after
list.
one season,
Yeah.
If
And
you can get him in,
he's looked really good.
Yeah.
He's looked really good as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. I like Kirk, but again,
and he's also mates with Dominic Szoboszlai, which also helps.
Hey, I don't know, man. Szoboszlai is the flavor of the month these days, so that might not even be a good thing.
No.
All right, people. It has been a very, very.
Sorry, man. That's probably me that would Trent. Sorry.
No. This is what we do the content for. We can't just always agree on everything, as you guys obviously saw there throughout the stream. We have to. Yeah, I mean, we've got to combat each other. Otherwise, it makes the stream very boring when we're all saying yes, sir, no, sir. It's kind of dead. So no, that was a good conversation, and you guys are giving me food for thought. Just know, next season, during preseason and next season, I promise you, I'll start doing Bradley Watch after every stream now. Just every time he plays, I'm just gonna be on Bradley Watch, and I'm gonna make sure that Jerry and K-Mac are there. I'm gonna make sure that they're there because I want them to show me everything that he did in the game that makes him a good right back. Now I'm playing.
We'll give you the receipts, mate. We'll give you the receipts.
Yeah. No, don't worry. Listen, I keep receipts of everything I buy. I promise you. But yeah, guys in the chat, make sure you are smashing the like button. Make sure you are sharing and subscribing. K-Mac, have you got anything popping? Over there?
Yeah, I'm going to do a show. Maybe tonight or tomorrow. I want to talk about what went wrong this year and over the last 2 years. Also, anyone who's on my channel now, switch over to G and subscribe, and also like this video because I can see you in here. So if you can just flip over to him, G, if you put your link in the chat, so people can just click on it, because there's quite a few people on my channel that can flip over. But yeah, big up.
Give me 2 sets. Sorry, I just saw the questions as well, people. Don't worry, I'll let you go through them right this very second. Just give me a moment. So let me get a question up first, actually. Any coincidence we are apparently looking at right backs? Are we? I did not know, but if that's the case, then fairs. Maybe I just said all of that for absolutely no reason. Fair enough. Really, RJ's asking, will anyone want Tony Cruz as experience in our midfield? I feel like I wouldn't want to turn it down. Like I don't want to be known as the club who turned down Tony Cruz. I'll tell you that.
In it.
Just it'll be us as well to just be the club to be like, oh, Liverpool said they didn't want him. What? But these times we bought Thiago. I don't know.
We ain't paid those wages.
Yeah.
It's like
Listen, we don't even like paying the wages
grand,
that we don't even like paying the wages that we do currently pay. So yeah. Honestly, question: what if Bradley next season is dead food? I guess that's just the risk with anyone, really. I have to say, because any one of them could be dead food. We didn't think last season. We didn't think everyone was just going to go to shits like that. So anyone could be. Look at Joe Gomez. Yo, I was saying Ice Spice, Bambi on ice and that. Like, look at him now. He's looking decent. Which DM would we want? Suggestions. I don't know if you guys know of any DMs out there that I've got my stocks in for Fana still. I feel like we could still go and get someone like him, but that's about it for me.
Wharton from Palace.
Palace ain't letting that brother go for at least 50 mil, bro. But he's good though. He's good.
But Wharton, that's the guy. Like, yeah, you need.
Yeah, no, he's good.
Yeah, the engine. He moves about a bit. He knows what he's doing. You don't really block the pathway for anyone else, like a Bajcetic. Someone like that. I like Wharton.
Yeah, no. I can get behind something like that. I like Wharton as well. I think he is a good player. K-Mac?
I think Archie Gray's on our radar.
Archie Gray pretty decent as well.
I also think we'll probably go back in for Thuram. He was on the
Mr. Flavour of the month.
What, Kefren Thuram?
Yeah,
bro,
I
completely forgot about Thuram.
Burn that list, man. That guy. What's that guy done this season then?
I'll be honest. I
doesn't really matter, does it?
About him after the season started.
Doesn't really matter what. But also, by the way, I do think Barella could be our marquee signing for midfield. You heard it from me.
Who?
All I'm saying,
Nicola Barella.
All I'm saying,
serious.
We're saying all of these midfielders, right? What are we doing with the midfielders that we do have? Like,
we got
that's a lot of
He's
guys.
got 1 year left on his contract as well. Barella.
Okay. You heard it from K-Mac, people. These are the words of K-Mac. These are the views of K-Mac, not of TV. Promo, do you not think the term generational gets thrown enough around too easily? Yes. I personally do, as players back in the day are way better than now. And Trent isn't better than Cafu. To me, not even close. I feel that's a bit of a gut punch. I never said he was as good as Cafu. But yes, the term generational 100% gets thrown around left, right, and center. I think that's the easiest one. I think we all know anyway. We've all watched football for a very long time.
Didn't we have another lad who was under Kenny called the Scouse Cafu? What was his name? The other right back we had. Do you remember him?
Flanagan.
Oh, get out of here. Get the hell.
Flanagan or Bradley?
That's a tough. Okay, you see with Flanagan or Bradley, yeah?
You're nuts, man.
If we're just talking tenacity, then Flanagan all day. His tenacity was crazy. But no. Bradley is a way better player than Flanagan. Like, I would have loved to have had. You know what's mad, yeah? I wouldn't have minded having like a Bradley, like a Bradley of today in that team. I think a Bradley in that team would have been better for us. But remember, Flanagan was playing left back and stuff, man. Like, Bradley can't play left back. No. Promo, why do you man rate Jones? I honestly don't get what he does at a high level.
I'm not even gonna answer that now. Like, I'm fed up with just the Jones talk. Like,
that's Jerry's guy, man. I'll let Jerry take that one if he wants, man. But he rates him.
What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say about him? Ball retention's good. He's more silky than your favorite midfielder. He's got more ability than your favorite midfielder, but he's been asked to go and just keep the width, cover Robbo, keep the ball moving. Again, just like your other favorite players, isn't it? Gini Wijnaldum. Everyone tried to the same thing happened, bro. We were having discussions where man was saying he don't do anything, he's not creative, he doesn't score enough goals, he don't assist, he holds on to the ball too long, he makes the wrong decisions. But then he was in the Netherlands, he's scoring all these goals, and then when he leaves, you go and say, "Oh, we missed that type of player, we missed that Gini Wijnaldum
Yeah,
player."
no, it's true. It's
Bro,
true.
just maybe have a think and be like, yeah, cool. You need some functionality in the midfield, and unfortunately, Jones is the one. His number came up, and they said you're going to be the function in that midfield. He's not there for the glitz and glamour. Do you know what I mean? So he's not there to just give the ball away all the time. In a different
Look, he
system,
saved,
we
he
may see a
saved our
different Jones.
season last year, pretty much. Like if he hadn't come into midfield, God knows where we'd have finished last year. So we probably wouldn't even got into the Europa League. And if we played a couple more games, we probably got into the Champions League, by the way, if we put Jones in the team earlier last year. And this year, he's been a mainstay. Like he's made the midfield work. Like, you know, whether he's been out, whether he's been in, like whether other players have dropped out or in. Like he's 22 years old. Like, come on, like it's his first real season. Like, and he still had injuries and red cards. So under Slot, he'll get a new slate, and he won't have to do some of the stuff that he's had to do. So maybe he'll just be able to play his natural game, and we'll be able to see Jones flourish like he does for England. Done.
Let's see, people. But guys, big up everybody. I think I just who's doing live? Never a Foul live. So I've just put the link. It will just redirect you guys over there. Just put G Raid if you guys go over there to watch what them lot. I think they're talking about the games over the last couple of days. I see Saka getting absolutely grilled in that chat. So yeah, people, make sure you smash the like button on your way out. Myself, Jerry, and K-Mac, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the Liverpool versus Spurs match preview. Yeah, I'll be doing it. Tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, I'll do it tomorrow morning, and hopefully, yeah, we'll have a little bit more of a chat as to who gets into the team, injuries, and etc. Peace.